It's Thursday, April 16th. Today, out of time and money. Why Winnipeg is unlikely to see a designated area for encampments and why some say the city is making a mistake. Also, paying the price, how shipping disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz might impact large-scale projects underway in Winnipeg. Plus, the lifeblood of the town, Demolished. A southern Manitoba community bids farewell to its grain elevator in dramatic fashion. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Thursday to you. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Now, coming up, Tandy Vera is going to tell us all about the Tri-Hospital Dream Lottery. She's going to talk a little bit more about the benefits of supporting the lottery. Of course, you could win over $1 million, maybe a beautiful home if that's what you choose, but you're also helping patients get the best care in this province. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that throughout the morning. But let's talk about that weather. We know there's something coming.
Yes.
Has it changed? Is it going to be as bad as they predicted?
Still kind of, it's a little tough to predict exactly how this system that's approaching, this low pressure system, will unfold. The kind of outlier, the unknown factor, if you will, is the risk of freezing drizzle. We don't know if it's going to be pretty widespread or just kind of patchy, but yes, we are going to be getting some snow. It is going to be starting in the southwest later today and then pushing into our skies overnight. But let's talk about the here and now, shall we? It's -6 degrees. We have a wind chill back. Don't love that at -14. It's overcast to kick us off. Strong northerly winds at 29, gusting at times to 39 kilometers per hour. Pressure's on the rise, humidity at 81%. So yes, this low pressure system, it triggered a special weather statement from Environment and Climate Change Canada. It's been about 24 hours and it hasn't been upgraded. Look for snowfall warnings to potentially come, because just warning that this low pressure system likely to impact these areas in gray, beginning in the southwest with a couple centimeters of snow and then pushing further into central regions of the province in the Red River Valley, like Winnipeg, overnight tonight. Couple centimeters worth could be coming today and another couple overnight. And with it, maybe some freezing drizzle, which could cause some issues on the roads. Our futurecast shows us how this will go. I don't know why I always go to cover the most important part of our map here. But yes, there's that big kind of overreaching disturbance as the day progresses. It does start to lift into the north. So that's when you start to see the snowfall come to our region, and then it lifts off, but the tail end of it seems to pick up a little bit of a second wind into tomorrow. And from there in Winnipeg, we're likely to see that snowfall taper off around noon, while the southwest will likely have it in their rearview mirror by Friday. In terms of our temperatures, we took a major dive overnight. Today rather, we're only getting up to a high of 0. And then in the next 2 days, as we deal with that snowfall, temperatures cooler at -2 and -1.
Thank you, Catherine. City administrators are advising councillors to drop the idea of setting up a managed outdoor homeless encampment site. According to a new report, there's no time or money to make it happen. But as CTV's John Hendricks shows you, some believe not going ahead will have costs of its own.
Aside from a few people walking along the path, there isn't really anyone along this stretch of Waterfront Drive. But with the weather improving, Lori Nealon is worried it won't stay that way for much longer.
Last summer and the last 5 years, this stretch of Fort Douglas Park has been filled with encampments with people living in these squalid conditions.
Nealon says for years she's wanted the city to set up a managed outdoor homeless encampment site, but a new report at City Hall is not recommending the city create one. The report says the managed encampment site should be available between April and August. City staff envisioned it would help anywhere between 24 and 60 people, depending on how big it was. The site would have to include washrooms, garbage bins, and service providers. It's estimated it could cost as much as $1.39 million, a figure that doesn't include 24/7 security costs or wraparound supports.
I'll be supporting the staff's recommendation to not move forward with the managed encampment site. The City of Winnipeg is in partnership with the province of Manitoba on the Your Way Home strategy.
Mayor Scott Gillingham says the city is already taking action on addressing homelessness, approving 2,600 affordable housing units. And he says council also approved an encampment bylaw.
We have removed 17 encampments over the last several months and got those encampments cleaned up to get people into housing.
I think it's very short-sighted.
Marion Willis from St. Boniface Street Links supports the idea of a managed homeless encampment site. She says it's a focused way to get people everything they need to get into housing. And Willis says it's already proven itself in cities such as Halifax.
It's not about maintaining and managing homelessness. It's about truly ending it.
Instead, she expects the inner city will struggle this year in ways it hasn't before. John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Winnipeg City Councillors remain stumped on how to approach regulations around fireworks and are asking for more time to study the issue.
We are trying to be more proactive, but we don't have. So remaining status quo, I'm going to challenge you, remaining status quo is not working for 3 or 4 of the wards.
On Tuesday, the Community Services Committee approved a motion to revisit the issue next March and in the meantime gather more data and set up a working group. Councillors discussed a number of options they hope will satisfy both those who want to set off fireworks safely and those opposed to fireworks. It includes a ban on certain types of fireworks, only allowing fireworks on certain days, or increased fines for illegally setting off fireworks. In most cases, enforcement remains an issue, as the city only has a limited number of people who can respond to such calls, and they only work daytime hours. A 61-year-old Canadian man who spent the last 2 decades in the U.S. raising his family is now back in Canada. He was deported after spending 65 days in ICE detention.
And just as I turned the corner, there they are. There was about 7 or 8 ICE guys, grabbed me right away, threw me up against the wall.
Douglas Dixon was arrested by ICE in February and detained. He moved to Florida in 2005 and got a green card. During the COVID pandemic, he was forced to close his smoothie cafe and fell behind in taxes. He ended up pleading no contest to tax evasion and was paying it back. But he still owed $12,000. And under American law, defrauding the government of more than $10,000 is an aggravated felony. He spent more than 2 months in detention before a judge ordered Dixon to be deported to Canada and banned him from returning for life.
I didn't think that the United States was going to treat people inhumanely. They do not care about the human condition in those detention centers.
Dixon is now describing what it was like being inside the detention center known as Alligator Alcatraz, a facility U.S. President Donald Trump has said would house violent criminals. Dixon says from his experience, that was not the case. He says the majority of people had jobs and families and were in there for what he called nonsense reasons. Dixon shared a fenced-in cell with 31 other men and says detainees were only allowed to shower every 3 days and got 1 hour of yard time every 4 days. An Alberta RCMP officer has been cleared of any wrongdoing after shooting at an American man who drove into Canada illegally. Mounties say a U.S. citizen attempted to enter Canada through the Coots border crossing on February 4th last year, but fled after being sent for secondary inspection. After several lengthy police chases and attempts to stop the vehicle, the man, who was armed with a gun, eventually fled on foot toward a residence. That's when the officer shot at him and sent a police dog after him. The suspect eventually died by suicide. The Alberta Serious Incident Response Team determined the officer's use of force in this case was necessary and reasonable. 2 members of the Royal Canadian Navy are facing charges in connection to the death of a soldier. Petty Officer 2nd Class Gregory Applin died in January 2025 after a boat capsized in the Bedford Basin near Halifax. A small boat called a rib, or rigid inflatable boat, had overturned in the basin. 2 Navy members are now facing charges. Master Sailor David Terry has been charged with criminal negligence causing bodily harm and negligent performance of military duties. Sailor First Class Alexandre Garrison faces the same charge, along with dangerous operation of a conveyance causing death. If the charges lead to a trial, it will happen in the military justice system. Now that the snow has melted for now, the grime and litter that lies beneath has been revealed. To freshen things up, the city is launching a beautification blitz in Winnipeg's downtown. 4 dedicated crews will clean and polish the area over the next 4 weeks, sweeping sidewalks and streets, replacing damaged signage, and pressure washing park equipment. The annual citywide spring cleanup starts Sunday. While the cleanup will involve more than 300 pieces of equipment and 500 workers, the mayor hopes he'll also lend a hand.
If you could take the time as a property owner, please, to sweep up and clean up your property, that would make a huge difference. It would get us accomplishing our goal of a cleaned up city faster.
The annual yard waste program is set to begin the week of May 4th. Winnipeggers should also watch for no parking signs and may be required to move their vehicle during the cleanup's blitz. You can stay up to date on operations through the city's website and Know Your Zone app. Now, the moment of a lifetime for a young hockey fan when his hockey hero made an unforgettable pass.
Dustin Wolf saw the sign that the little boy was holding. It said, "Wolf, you are my idol."
And the Calgary Flames goaltender tossed his stick to the stands that went all the way as a gift to Cade Heisler. The 10-year-old, who is a goalie himself, overcome by emotion at the incredibly moving gesture. Oh, what a sweet moment. Here's a look at what's happening right now on Kenniston Boulevard. It looks like things are starting off pretty smoothly this morning. If you see any issues out on the streets, please send us a text at 10400. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It looks smooth and it looks fine right now, but not for long, Catherine.
No, well, we've got a little bit of a day to enjoy here in Winnipeg before, yes, an incoming system sprinkles some snow. Not words I want to be delivering in April. It's chilly out here, -7 degrees with that wind chill. Feels more like -15. It is a little bit overcast, couple clouds out here. Winds are strong out of the north-northeast at 29 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising. Humidity sits at 82%. So yes, this low pressure system that has triggered a special weather statement from Environment and Climate Change Canada. Look for that to be upgraded throughout the day to potentially warnings. It's already, begun to see the snow fall. The snow has already begun to fall, there we go, in the southwest, areas like Brandon and Dauphin. And coincidentally, around Dauphin and the Swan River area, you're likely to be seeing the densest snowfall. Environment and Climate Change Canada says about 5 to 10 centimeters for you in that region today, another 2 to 4 overnight. Temperatures will be cool throughout the day, potentially just a few degrees below freezing. For us in Winnipeg, it's 0. We have a risk of freezing drizzle this morning. Otherwise, a mix of sun and cloud before the snow is likely to arrive for us. We're looking at potentially 2 centimeters overnight with more snow arriving tomorrow. I'm going to go inside and warm up and contemplate why we're having snow right now, but stay with us. So much more Your Morning Winnipeg still to come.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Good morning. The clogged up Strait of Hormuz could impact Winnipeg's big sewage project. The $3 billion North Treatment Plant upgrades are being done in 3 phases. And as CTV's Jeff Keel explains, the strait's closure has the potential to increase Phase 2's cost and lengthen its schedule.
Heavy machinery like this uses a lot of fuel, so the Iran conflict, a half a world away, could push up the price of Winnipeg's most expensive project.
We're watching the impact that global events are having on our construction projects.
The $3 billion North Sewage Treatment Plant upgrades are being done in 3 phases, known as the headworks, biosolids, and nutrient removal portions. A report to the Mayor's Executive Policy Committee has identified a new risk for the biosolids phase. The closure of the Strait of Hormuz has the potential to impact cost and schedule. Monitoring of the closure to assess impacts on material costs and delivery timelines is ongoing.
Big projects all across Canada are always at risk to world trade.
Water and Waste Committee Chair Ross Eady says the standoff at the Strait is driving up gas and diesel prices, which trickles down to the cost of construction.
All of the heavy equipment that's utilized to do these projects and even producing concrete and other components.
The report also identifies another risk, a shortage of workers, because of the number of infrastructure projects planned in Manitoba.
Without enough workers, projects get delayed and the prices go up.
The Winnipeg Construction Association says changes to apprenticeship ratios and an aging workforce are also contributing to the shortages. The city report says a strategy to offset the problem is under development.
It's right for the city of Winnipeg to be looking at labor supply and making sure that there's the people there to build this very important project for all of Winnipeg.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
EPC will have a presentation on the report at next week's meeting. The mayor adds the city's vehicle fleet, including buses, ambulances, fire trucks, and police cruisers, is feeling the impact of rising fuel prices. Gillingham says all departments have been reminded to watch their fuel use, including not idling when it's not necessary. The floodway could go into operation over the weekend ahead of the Red River's peak in Winnipeg. The floodway gates would be raised to help control water levels in the city. The Red River is expected to crest at James Avenue in Winnipeg between April 21st and the 25th at 17.7 feet. That's just below what the province considers a moderate flood. Meantime, runoff is partially ongoing along the Assiniboine River. It's expected to peak in Winnipeg on April 25th. The province warns there could be minor flooding in low-lying areas along that river. A cheerful Liberal Party welcomed its newest members yesterday, celebrating their new majority government.
Canadians have placed their trust in the government's plan. We now have reinforcements to help implement that, and we're going to go straight to work.
Prime Minister Mark Carney hosted his first caucus meeting since winning a majority, ushering in the 3 newly elected MPs. The latest floor crosser, Marilyn Gladue, was also front and center. The Liberals secured 174 seats after 5 MPs crossed the floor, and the party won all 3 by-elections on Monday. And while the Liberals celebrate, the Conservatives appear to be focusing on the future, continuing to support Pierre Poilievre's leadership.
This is united and united behind a leader that has a vision.
Our caucus is united behind Pierre Poilievre.
Pierre Poilievre and our Conservative colleagues are the last hope to save our country. That's why we're united.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre said he has no plans to resign. 4 of the 5 floor crossers were Conservative MPs, and the numbers from Monday's by-election show the Conservative vote share falling. The Conservative candidate in the Montreal area riding of Terrebonne captured roughly 3% of the vote, which is a 15% drop. Blue Bombers fans will notice a few improvements when the season starts later this spring. Profits from last year allowed the Winnipeg Football Club to make new investments at Princess Auto Stadium. While operating expenses rose by $23 million last year due to hosting the Grey Cup, the club's 2025 annual report shows an operating profit of $12.1 million. That's thanks in part to a sold-out season. $8.4 million was used for improvements, including a new players' lounge, additional contactless security screening devices, and concession equipment. The club also installed 2 new high-resolution video boards and is replacing loge seats and redesigning the rum hut. Imagine finding some baby river otters hiding in your own backyard. Well, some homeowners in Richmond, BC found 3 of them. Look at them. They noticed an otter regularly visiting their shed and eventually called a wildlife removal company. They found a hidden den with 3-week-old pups inside. They were placed in a heated box nearby, allowing mom to retrieve them. And now the shed is covered in screening to keep them out.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. The east and westbound curb lanes on Lombard Avenue will be closed between Main and Rory Street. Following the rush, the northbound curb lane on McPhillips Street will be closed from Kingsbury to Leela Avenue. And the median lanes on Inkster Boulevard will be closed between McPhillips and Lansdowne Avenue. If you see anything out on the streets, please give us a text.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution.
A cloudy and chilly start to our Thursday. I had to think of the day. -7 degrees with that wind chill. Hate to say the words wind chill, but it's feeling closer to -15. As mentioned, it's overcast. The wind's decently strong out of the north-northeast at 29 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising. Humidity at 82%. So yes, we're going to be keeping our eye to the sky today as a late winter storm, is imminent. And you can already tell we're primed for some snowfall based on these cool conditions unfolding unfolding across the province. -5 degrees in Morden and Winkler, -7 in Brandon, quite chilly in Dauphin at -10, bested by Swan River at -12. To the north, very similar temperatures with the exception of Lynn Lake, which is quite chilly at -23. Also, your wind chills are a little bit fiercer there, making it feel closer to about -30 in certain parts. In terms of that system, you can see it kind of creeping in over from the west, over the international border and from Saskatchewan. Snow has already begun in Brandon and Dauphin, and in fact, Dauphin is likely to be the hardest hit by this. About 5 to 10 centimeters of snow could be coming your way, while about 2 to 4 will be coming to Brandon today. As such, this special weather statement is in effect for much of southern Manitoba. Look for that to be potentially upgraded to some snowfall warnings as the system nears. In terms of your school day forecast, it'll be chilly as mentioned, -5 and overcast. Then we have a risk of some freezing drizzle as kids take lunch at -4 degrees and -2 as they head home. We're heating up to about 0, needless to say. That's not typical. 11 is more of a seasonal high. And then overnight, as that snowfall approaches, temperatures dip to -5. Look for that snowfall to continue for the next couple of days. A gorgeous shot of that sunset in St. Agathe taken by Roy. Thanks for submitting, and keep your weather pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Good morning. New online platforms are allowing users to wager on the outcomes of future events, including politics, the economy, and war. CTV's John Venevalley-Rao now with how that's creating major ethical concerns.
This polymarket trader has made $6 million! On social media, all sorts of mostly young men.
This is by far the easiest way to make money in 2026.
Posting videos about sites like Kalshi and Polymarket, which allow traders to bet on just about everything.
The end of this year,
from election results to who will win on The Bachelorette.
Will Carg Island get invaded? This random account on Polymarket sure seems to think so.
Even placing wagers on the war in Iran.
It's called a prediction market, where you can bet on real-world events.
The sites have exploded in popularity in the U.S., letting people make yes or no wagers.
Will Trump release the unredacted Epstein files?
And the results can outperform traditional polling. Some news organizations like CNN now routinely refer to the market odds.
It is now up to 77%, according to the folks at Kalshi, putting their money where their mouth is.
A trader made over $530,000 betting that the U.S. would attack Iran.
But concerns are being raised about some of what is being bet on, particularly the wars in Iran and Ukraine.
Whenever it comes to outcomes where lives are at stake and war are such things, I think there are very profound ethical questions. I would call these contracts immoral, but that's my personal take.
Questions are also being asked about whether some are profiting off of insider information. Hours before Venezuela's then president, Nicolas Maduro, was captured by U.S. forces, suspiciously timed bets about his removal were made on Polymarket. Well-timed bets were also placed just before Iran's former supreme leader was killed in a U.S.-Israeli strike.
When you compound the fact that we're literally taking bets on people's lives getting destroyed, and that people in the know are effectively making positive financial outcomes off of it, it's a troubling situation.
How to make big money.
In Canada, Polymarket and Kalshi are not legally available, and prediction markets here are limited to just a few subjects like the economy and environment, including the weather. Toronto-based Wealthsimple recently became the second Canadian firm to get approval to offer forecast trading.
They have a very limited authority to trade in a select group of outcomes that do not cover sports, that do not cover events of a political type, or such as elections or what's happening in the Middle East.
Meanwhile, Canadian regulators say they are watching prediction markets closely and could bring in tighter rules to deal with them. John Venevalley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Countless videos of humanoid robots have made the rounds, but mostly as demonstrations. Now a robot in Poland has found a practical function. This robot's name is Edward Warchocki, and in this video, it's chasing away a small herd of wild boars and yelling, "Go away," in Polish. Edward is equipped with AI technology and has actually become an internet personality in Poland. It regularly chats with people on the streets of Warsaw and even ran the city's marathon last month. All right, here's a look outside now on Premache Bridge. It looks like things are starting off pretty smoothly this Thursday morning. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this.
and chilly to start us off today at -7 degrees. And to say we have a wind chill right now, I don't love that. At -15, it is overcast and breezy. Pressure is on the rise and the humidity sits at 82%. So yes, we've been kind of watching and waiting for this potential storm to come our way. You can see it start to push in there into the southwest corner. Snow has already begun, in fact, in Dauphin and Brandon. And through much of the south, we still have the special weather statement in effect, areas lit up in gray. It's actually expanded a little bit since yesterday. So with it, a couple centimeters of snow could be coming to us overnight tonight. We do have a chance of freezing drizzle today, but for the most part, we're going to deal with a mix of sun and cloud, while the southwest likely to be the hardest hit, most notably Dauphin, a couple centimeters today and a couple more overnight. For us, we're going to stay dry as mentioned. Temperatures quite chilly. 0 is what we're expecting. 11 is more what's typical. And those strong winds are going to be ramping up mostly into the afternoon hours out of the north at 30, gusting at times to 50 kilometers per hour. And as I mentioned, there's that risk of freezing rain. But overnight, that's when we're likely to join the party with the snowfall. Couple centimeters worth, about 2, and those winds staying strong, temperatures dipping down to -5 as clouds start to build. And then tomorrow, snowfall still expected, another couple centimeters. We do have this risk of freezing rain. It's still unclear when and how rampant it will be. Temperatures, though, they're sliding even more to -2. Likely Saturday, that snowfall is going to continue. We do get the sunshine back by Sunday, and our temperatures rebound nicely into the start of next week.
Mounties are asking for your help tracking down a stolen truck and the person who may be responsible. It looks like this, a white 2019 Ford F550 SD XLT. It was parked behind a business on the outskirts of Carman and is believed to have been stolen around 4 a.m. Sunday. It was hooked up to a flatbed trailer with a forklift, which was found in LaSalle the following day. RCMP are hoping to find this woman, who they say was spotted in the parking lot around the time the truck was stolen. Anyone with information is asked to call Carman RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Thousands of federal public servants are applying for an early retirement package as the government looks to trim its workforce. The Treasury Board says the program allows workers to retire early with an immediate pension based on years of service and no financial penalties. Public servants who are approved must retire by January 20th of 2027. But the plan is receiving pushback. Both the Public Service Alliance of Canada and the Professional Institute of the Public Service of Canada have filed policy grievances over the program, claiming it violates consultation obligations and undermines collective agreement protections. A jury in the U.S. has ruled against Live Nation, saying it had a harmful monopoly over concert venues.
There probably will be a large monetary damage awarded. We'll see what the settlement happens as far as whether that gets approved or not.
Live Nation is the owner of Ticketmaster. Last year, it put on more than 55,000 concerts around the world. The jury found Live Nation an illegal monopoly controlling the market to overcharge fans. This verdict could lead to Live Nation and Ticketmaster breaking up. The company may also be forced to pay back some fans who were overcharged. Live Nation is vowing to appeal. An American YouTuber has been sentenced to 6 months in jail in South Korea.
I think justice will be served. I'm remorseful. I'm sorry for my crimes. And I want to apologize to the people of Korea. And I want to change my life and become a better person.
The self-proclaimed internet troll known as Johnny Somali has been found guilty of multiple charges, including obstruction of business and distributing fabricated sexually explicit content. A number of his videos sparked national outrage in South Korea, including one of him dancing on a statue honoring victims of wartime sexual slavery. He also distributed non-consensual deepfake videos. The court ordered his immediate detention after the verdict, calling him a flight risk. A pile of scrap, wood, and metal is all that's left of a rural Manitoba grain elevator. The small farming community of Austin came together Wednesday to watch it fall. A dramatic video shows just how fast it came tumbling to the ground. CTV's Joseph Bernacki was there to witness it.
In one fell swoop, Austin's Prairie Sentinel came crashing to the ground.
I understand there are hazards and they have to come down, but at the same time, it is still a little sad to see something that hard work was put into.
On Wednesday morning, Shayna Bergen and her family came together to watch Austin's 75-year-old grain elevator come down. Bergen and her husband own the grocery store right across the street and have watched the elevator fall into disrepair. She says she wasn't surprised to hear it had to come down, but was happy to see dozens of people pay their respects.
My husband and I were actually joking that it kind of reminded us of corner gas because the entire town was out to watch something as simple as an elevator falling.
For retired truck driver and Austin resident Earl Fair, the elevator was a goalpost, reminding him he was close to home.
A little sad to see the old historical buildings come down that you've just been so used to seeing all the time, eh?
Gordon Goldsboro, executive director of Manitoba Historical Society, says grain elevators like the one built in 1951 in Austin are a dying breed on the prairies. He says they are the heart of the community.
We have a countdown of grain elevators in Manitoba, and it presently stands at 114. At one time, there were over 700 elevators in Manitoba.
Goldsboro estimates of the remaining 114, less than half are still in operation. Luckily for Austin residents, an even older grain elevator still stands high above the tree line. At the Manitoba Agricultural Museum just down the road, this structure from 1901 remains the oldest standing elevator in the province. Last year, the museum spent over $9,000 in repairs to help keep the building sound for a few more decades.
Conversely to the elevator that was torn down today, which had disrepair from water and the elements getting in, these expensive but very worthy conservation repairs is why we do that.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Austin.
Alpacas are giving scientists clues about global grazing patterns. These Peruvian alpacas, now in Wales, are a long way from home, and they're getting to know the local cuisine. Scientists are studying everything going in and all the stuff coming out of the alpacas, right down to the DNA. Figuring out the best grazing strategies can help boost biodiversity and make agriculture more sustainable. Here's a look at what's happening right now at Confusion Corner. Things are slowly picking up in this part of the city, but so far things are moving quite well. If you see any issues out on the streets, please send us a text at 10400. Here's a look now at your gas prices. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.71, a slight drop from yesterday. And the lowest price in the city is $1.57, found at 3 gas stations. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today. Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
The sun is rising, trying to peek out behind a couple clouds in downtown Winnipeg, and it's quite chilly out here as well. I won't sugarcoat it. It's -7 degrees, that wind chill making it feel closer to -15. Strong winds to start us off out of the northeast at 29 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising and the humidity at 82%. So we are on storm watch today. Environment and Climate Change Canada has been warning us about this late winter storm, poised to push in from the west. In fact, it's already begun with the snowfall in Brandon and Dauphin. It'll continue off and on throughout the day, rather, constantly, and then pushing off into our skies here in Winnipeg overnight. However, we're still a little unclear of how this will unfold. A good amount of snowfall likely coming to Dauphin in and around those regions. In fact, Environment and Climate Change Canada said it could be upwards of about 5 to 10 centimeters worth in that region, plus another 2 overnight. Temperatures chilly. Here in Winnipeg, we're looking at 0. We do have a slight risk of freezing rain, and then overnight, once we join the party, we're likely to get about 2 centimeters, with snowfall continuing tomorrow. All right, we're checking in with our own Tandy Vera, who's learning about a very exciting lottery, the Tri-Hospital Dream Lottery, to be exact. Tandy.
Hey, Catherine, and good morning, Manitoba. I am in a beautiful home, and we're chatting about the Tri-Hospital Dream Lottery and its real impact, and I'm joined by special guests, Jack, champion child for 2025, and his mom, Samantha. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, now, for our viewers who might not know, Samantha, walk us through the early days, what you went through, and the impact it had on Jack.
Jack was born very early. He was born at 26 weeks. That's 14 weeks earlier than normal. He was born with his twin brother. We unfortunately lost his brother very early on. So Jack went on to fight in the NICU for about 4 months before he was healthy enough to come home.
Wow, that's the impact of that. It's just so beautiful when hearing you talk about that. And the Children's Hospital helped along with that. Can you talk about how the team supported you and the family?
When you're going through something like that, it's the most traumatic and difficult experience to go through as a family. And so the staff at the hospital, the people that work in the NICU, nurses and support staff, really make it a lot more bearable than without them. You know, they really help you get through it and carry you on to the next day to just keep fighting and help your kid get better.
Yeah, yeah. And Jack, you're the 2025 champion child. What was your favorite thing about being the champion child?
Raising my flag at City Hall.
Yeah, you like that a lot?
Yeah.
Jack loves flags.
That's amazing. We love flags too.
I think the whole city probably knows that by now.
And just seeing how the Children's Hospital supported you, why should people take part in this lottery?
Well, it's just, you know, it's so important to help the kids. They go through so much, and just anything that makes their time in the hospital a little bit easier comes from the support of people that support the Tri-Hospital Lottery, and we couldn't be more grateful.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're going to be chatting more with them later on during the show and chatting with Jack about some of his favorite things to do, which includes fishing, I'm told. Is that right, Jack?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Here's a look at the early markets. The Dow Jones had no significant changes. The Nasdaq is 46 points up. The S&P index is flat. The Canadian dollar rose to 72.84 cents U.S. Overseas, the Hang Seng climbed 446 points, and the Nikkei is 1,384 points higher. Good morning. It is 6:46. Poor road conditions have forced the Division Scolaire Franco-Manitobaine to cancel bus service today for École Saint-Lazare. There are no buses for Saint-Lazare, although the school is open today. Manitoba's only black bear rescue is putting forward a cash reward after a mother black bear was illegally killed last month. Manitoba Conservation says it happened on Road 6 East, just north of Balmoral, between roads 86 and 87 North, sometime between March 30th and 31st. The killing left behind 3 orphaned cubs who have been taken in by Manitoba Black Bear Rescue. And now that rescue is offering up a $10,000 reward for information that leads to a conviction. Manitoba Conservation says the maximum penalty is a $10,000 fine and or 6 months imprisonment. If you have information that can help, contact conservation officers or call the Turn In Poachers tip line. Those numbers are up on your screen right now, and you do not need to give your name. 2 members of the Royal Canadian Navy are facing charges in connection to the death of a sailor. Petty Officer 2nd Class Gregory Applin died in January 2025 after a boat capsized in the Bedford Basin near Halifax. A small boat called a rib, or rigid inflatable boat, had overturned in the basin. 2 Navy members are now facing charges. Master Sailor David Terry has been charged with criminal negligence causing bodily harm and negligent performance of military duties. Sailor First Class Alexandre Garrison faces the same charge, along with dangerous operation of a conveyance causing death. If the charges lead to a trial, it will happen in the military justice system. The federal government is very seriously considering a social media ban for kids, according to Culture Minister Mark Miller. This comes days after party members voted in favor of a ban at the Liberal Convention. Members passed a non-binding resolution calling on the government to set 16 as the minimum age for access to social media accounts. Miller added that while the ban could be an important tool, it's not a solution to the bigger problem of online harms. Fighting between Lebanon and Israel continues, with talks between their 2 leaders expected to take place today. An Israeli cabinet minister is confirming the talks, saying Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will speak to Lebanese President Joseph Aoun today. But there is some confusion over whether the 2 leaders will actually meet. U.S. President Donald Trump posted on social media last night saying the 2 leaders would speak today, but Lebanon says it is not aware of any upcoming contact with Israel. The last time the leaders of Lebanon and Israel held direct talks was in the early 1990s. Meanwhile, Pakistan's army chief is meeting with Iranian officials in Tehran today. The face-to-face meeting is the latest effort to ease tensions in the Middle East and arrange a second round of negotiations between the U.S. and Iran. Several 7-Eleven sandwiches, subs, and wraps have been recalled due to possible listeria contamination. Affected products include its chicken Caesar wrap, hoagie sub, the chicken chipotle wrap, and its new Japanese-style egg salad sandwich. The The sandwiches were sold in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and BC. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says there have been no reports of people getting sick so far. A melting snow pile near Boston is revealing some interesting things.
We're going to drive that thing again.
The city of Somerville, Massachusetts, the Department of Public Works say they left 6 of the city's cars under the snow on purpose. They were inoperable and already awaiting disposal. And with back-to-back major storms, they didn't want to divert resources to move them. So now they're slowly being revealed as the snow melts. Very cool. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. The east and westbound curb lanes on Lombard Avenue will be closed between Main and Rory Street. Following the rush, the northbound curb lane on McPhillip Street will be closed from Kingsbury to Leela Avenue. And the median lane on Inkster Boulevard will be closed between McPhillips and Lansdowne Avenue. If you have any other traffic tips, please send us a text.
It is a bit of a chilly start to our Thursday out there, but the sun is starting to peek its head out from behind those clouds. It's -7 degrees with that wind chill, feels more like -15. Winds are out of the northeast. They're strong at 29 kilometers per hour. Pressure is rising, humidity sitting at 82%. So yes, we're starting to see the beginning stages of this late winter snowstorm. That's how Environment and Climate Change Canada described it. You can see the inklings there on the southwest corner of our province. Snow has already begun there. Some freezing drizzle potentially expected as well. And to that effect, there we go. We have some weather alerts in effect. In fact, this is a special weather statement that Environment and Climate Change Canada issued yesterday. Could potentially be upgraded to a yellow snowfall warning as the day progresses. But it's warning us about this approaching low pressure system that while it could have snow, could also have some freezing drizzle mixed in. There is some snow already falling this morning in Churchill. However, it's not a part of this incoming system. This region is still dealing with the fallout from a separate system from yesterday. So some light snow continuing for you today, while Thompson likely to be under a mix of sun and cloud. Temperatures at -6 in that neck of the woods, -8 in Gillam, chillier in Churchill at -10 degrees. The northwest, though, mix of sun and cloud, more cloud into the afternoon, -4 degrees in Opaskwayak, Cree-Nation, La Pond, Flin Flon, over in Lynn Lake, -6 degrees. So the southwest, this is the area that's likely to get bear the brunt of this system, mostly Dauphin. About 5 to 10 centimeters could be coming and a couple more overnight. Will stay dry, potential for some freezing drizzle. Likely, though, it'll just be increasing cloudiness. And northwestern Ontario also dealing with that sleet with temperatures kind of all over the place in that region. Fort Frances at 17. I had to double check. Temperatures dipping overnight. And yes, we too likely to get that snowfall arriving in those overnight hours and continuing into tomorrow.
Thank you, Catherine. Let's check in now on the team at 103.1 Virgin Radio. Hi, you guys.
Good morning. Happy Thursday to you all. We're super excited. This coming Tuesday, we are going in advance of Earth Day. We're going to go pick up litter, pick up garbage, clean up our community. Okay? So we're dialed. We're ready. We got the people. We got the stuff. We got the passion. What we need is, and so we're going to just do it democratically by vote on text 99999. What should our cleaning team be called? Option 1, LTI.
Clean Age Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Would you like us to be called the Clean Age Mutant Ninja Turtles? Or option number 2 is the K-Pop Cleanin' Hunters.
Oh, I like that.
K-Pop Cleanin' Hunters. Please vote. Text 99999. Would you prefer our team be... He is goosing me with the, what is that thing called?
A grabber.
A gooser.
It's not, but that's...
That'll wake you up.
Were you doing that, trying to do that the whole time?
Oh, yeah.
Text 99999. Are we Clean Age Mutant Ninja Turtles or the K-Pop Cleanin' Hunters? Chrissy wants to just tell you, by the way, starting on Monday, on 103.1 Virgin Radio, we are giving away, this is true, $5,000 a day, $5,000 every day. Just listen for these keywords on the hour, every hour. Shout out to Qdoba. All right.
Also, we have a podcast. So when you are cleaning on weekends or you're heading to the lake, we do a podcast. Lloyd's the one who cuts it up. So our show is on a podcast every single day on the iHeartRadio app. It's absolutely free to download. And you can find every show there. And it's a little shorter than our actual show.
Boys and their toys. Right? So predictable. Thanks, you guys. We'll see you on Friday. Turning trash into treasure has helped one Vancouver man find a new outlook on life. He's repurposed old boots, ski poles, and even given a video camera a second life. Here's CTV's Adam Sawatsky.
Although it is unusual to see boots outside a bedroom window that were once blooming,
marigolds and cowboy boots.
Chris Poland says he regularly repurposes things like this while riding around finding things others have left behind.
I stumbled upon this bag with a free sign, and it had an old camera in it.
A video camera, likely discarded because its technology is so outdated.
But I didn't really know about it, so I left it in a box for like 2 years.
In the meantime, Chris started playing competitive bicycle polo.
Kind of like hockey on bikes.
But instead of skates, a stick, and puck, you ride around trying to hit a ball into a net with a mallet.
Not many people do ski poles.
But then again, not many people are like Chris, who turned these old ski poles he found into polo mallets before cutting orange construction fencing into the wheel guards you need to protect your bike spokes from being bent.
Now I can't go back because the orange is so good.
And it turns out Chris is so good at the sport, he plays all over the place, and was recently invited to compete in Whitehorse.
So I have a friend who happens to be throwing a film festival in Whitehorse.
A friend who also looks for the unexpected possibilities of things and spent months collecting thousands of aluminum cans so he could buy a projector to play the movies.
He called it the Cannes Film Festival, which is pretty nice.
As opposed to con.
Yeah.
So Chris taught himself how to use that old camera, shot this short comedy despite never making a movie before, and was inspired to see how recycling cans could end up cultivating community.
During the winter, to bring people together when it's cold and like people need connection up there.
So now that he's back home, Chris will keep searching for things that he can make useful again in unexpected ways.
It's like really nice to be able to take the time to do something special and make people laugh and smile.
Which is why Chris is planning to replant those marigolds, because although these boots were made for walking, he knows that's not just all they'll do. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
Very cool. Here's a look at Notre Dame Avenue. Good start to the day so far. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this. It's Thursday, April 16th. Today, a home for the homeless, while the city is being advised against a managed encampment. Plus some spring cleaning, how Winnipeg is beautifying the city now that spring is here. And an exciting update when Uniqlo is set to open in Winnipeg's Polo Park Mall. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba at 7 o'clock on your Thursday. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Now at 7:52 in our Community Connection, we're going to tell you about the Brandon Bear Clan Patrol. They created that patrol about 9 years ago. There's a real need for it there. So we're going to find out about how many volunteers have really joined up with the whole group and what they do every day and what you can do to support them. So we're going to have that a little later at about 7:52, but it's coming. It's going to start as rain and then snow.
That's right, yes. We're tracking a low pressure system. We've been warning about its arrival for a couple days, and it's starting to show up in areas to the west of us. So like Brandon and Dauphin, you're already seeing the flakes fly. We are dry, we are cool, we are cloudy. -7 degrees this hour with that wind chill feeling closer to -15. Some strong northeasterly winds. That'll be the case through the day. Pressure is rising. Humidity sits at 82%. So yes, we still have that special weather statement in effect, and it's actually expanded further there to the east as we pull in there. It's been in effect for about a day. Warning of this approaching low pressure system, likely to spread a couple of centimeters worth of snowfall. Most notably to the southwest, in and around the Brandon area, you could get 5 to 10 centimeters worth. That was Environment and Climate Change Canada's estimation today, and maybe a couple more centimeters overnight. We're likely not going to get as much, but we're still going to get some. The other unknown factor is the freezing drizzle kind of mixed in there. We could see some of that off and on throughout the day. day here, even in Winnipeg, but it could be pretty sporadic. So this system very much has that possibility for some slippery roads. As the day progresses, that's when we start to see it push up further there into the east. We're likely to start seeing the snowfall overnight for us here in Winnipeg, and we're looking at about 2 centimeters worth, with another 2 expected overnight in the southwest. That's in addition to what you're getting today. It's going to continue on into Friday. As you can see, it really gains a lot of momentum, and not only Friday, Saturday as well. With that, we're seeing our temperatures really take a dive. Today we're at 0 when 11 is typical, and with the arrival of the snow, we're at -5 overnight, with temperatures plunging even further into Friday and Saturday and recovering next week. Your weather art of the day, this one drawn by Ela. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing that name correctly. She was doing a lovely Easter drawing there with the Easter Bunny and the eggs. Thanks for sending that in. And we want to remind you that we're featuring one of these kids' artworks every day here on Your Morning Winnipeg, and we'd like you to submit your child's weather art of the day. So you can visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, fill out the form, and your art can be shown every day, but it's also going to enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle on Keniston.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle. Spend quality time with loved ones and paint memories together.
City administrators are advising councillors to drop the idea of setting up a managed outdoor homeless encampment site. According to a new report, there's no time or money to make it happen. But as CTV's John Hendricks shows you, some believe not going ahead will have costs of its own.
Aside from a few people walking along the path, there isn't really anyone along this stretch of Waterfront Drive. But with the weather improving, Lori Nealon is worried it won't stay that way for much longer.
Last summer and the last 5 years, this stretch of Fort Douglas Park has been filled with encampments with people living in these squalid conditions.
Nealon says for years she's wanted the city to set up a managed outdoor homeless encampment site, but a new report at City Hall is not recommending the city create one. The report says the managed encampment site should be available between April and August. City staff envisioned it would help anywhere between 24 and 60 people, depending on how big it was. The site would have to include washrooms, garbage bins, and service providers. It's estimated it could cost as much as $1.39 million, a figure that doesn't include 24/7 security costs or wraparound supports.
I'll be supporting the staff's recommendation to not move forward with the managed encampment site. The City of Winnipeg is in partnership with the province of Manitoba on the Your Way Home strategy.
Mayor Scott Gillingham says the city is already taking action on addressing homelessness, approving 2,600 affordable housing units. And he says council also approved an encampment bylaw.
We have removed 17 encampments over the last several months and got those encampments cleaned up to get people into housing.
I think it's very short-sighted.
Marion Willis from St. Boniface Street Links supports the idea of a managed homeless encampment site. She says it's a focused way to get people everything they need to get into housing. And Willis says it's already proven itself in cities such as Halifax.
It's not about maintaining and managing homelessness. It's about truly ending it.
Instead, she expects the inner city will struggle this year in ways it hasn't before. John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
And now that the snow has melted for now, the grime and litter that lies beneath has been revealed. To freshen things up, the city is launching a beautification blitz in Winnipeg's downtown. 4 dedicated crews will clean and polish the area over the next 4 weeks, sweeping sidewalks and streets, replace damaged signage, and pressure washing park equipment. The annual citywide spring cleanup starts Sunday. While the cleanup will involve more than 300 pieces of equipment and 500 workers, the mayor hopes he'll also lend a hand.
Take the time as a property owner, please, to sweep up and clean up your property. That would make a huge difference. It would get us accomplishing our goal of a cleaned up city faster.
The annual Yardways program is set to begin the week of May 4th. Winnipeggers should also watch for no parking signs and may be required to move their vehicle during the cleanup blitz. You can stay up to date on operations through the city's website and Know Your Zone app. An Alberta RCMP officer has been cleared of any wrongdoing after shooting at an American man who drove into Canada illegally. Mounties say a U.S. citizen attempted to enter Canada through the Coutts border crossing on February the 4th last year, but fled after being sent for secondary inspection. After several lengthy police chases and attempts to stop the vehicle, the man, who was armed with a gun, eventually fled on foot toward a residence. That's when the officer shot at him and sent a police dog after him. The suspect eventually died by suicide. The Alberta Serious Incident Response Team determined the officer's use of force in this case was necessary and reasonable. The head of FIFA says he expects Iran to play in the World Cup.
The Iranian team is coming for sure, yes. Yes.
No
we hope that by then, of course, the situation will be a peaceful situation. As I said, that would definitely help.
Iran is scheduled to play its group games in the U.S. Whether they play or not has been in question since the war started. There have been mixed messages from Iran's government and soccer officials. FIFA President Gianni Infantino said he visited the team in Turkey 2 weeks ago and came away encouraged. The Iranian team is due to arrive in the U.S. by June 10th. Get those shopping bags ready. We now know when Japanese clothing giant Uniqlo is opening at CF Polo Park. The Lifewear retailer says doors will open May 15th. The Uniqlo store will be located on the second level of the mall by the food court. It will eat up about 18,000 square feet with clothing for men, women, and kids. A second location will open later this year at St. Vital Centre. Now the moment of a lifetime for a young hockey fan when his hockey hero made an unforgettable pass.
Dustin Wolf saw the sign that the little boy was holding. It said, "Wolf, you are my idol."
The Calgary Flames goaltender tossed his stick to the stands. That went all the way as a gift to Cade Heisler. The 10-year-old, who is a goalie himself, overcome by emotion at the incredibly moving gesture. That's so sweet. Here's a look at what's going on now in traffic along Portage Avenue. It looks like it's a pretty slow start this Thursday morning. If you see any problems out on the streets, please send us a text to let us know.
With reports the truce between the U.S. and Iran may be extended, the markets continue their massive surge of the past 2 weeks. The TSX is just off its pre-war record high. The NASDAQ is on its longest positive run in a half-decade, set a high on Wednesday. Oil is continuing its downward trend, with West Texas Intermediate in the low 90s. Canada's interprovincial trade barriers may leave the country in the dust when it comes to driverless transport trucks from Volvo, at least, which are powered by technology with Canadian roots, including from Toronto-based Waabi. Waabi CEO Raquel Erdison says Canada's uneven regulatory environment for autonomous vehicles puts the country at risk of falling behind in adopting the technology. The White House says it is withholding judgment on a proposal by United Airlines to merge with rival American Airlines, a tie-up that would raise significant antitrust concerns. However, some members of Congress are weighing in. My advice to United, don't even try, says Senator Richard Blumenthal, who sits on the Judiciary Committee, which oversees antitrust laws. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Let's go now to Tandy Vera. We're talking about the Tri-Hospital Dream Lottery this morning. You're in a gorgeous kitchen right now. Is that right?
Yep, I'm in a beautiful kitchen right now, Rochelle. It's amazing here. Honestly, it's my dream house. If I could choose and put everything together, I would put it together as it is right now. And you could win this grand prize of the house as well. It's one ticket, triple the impact, and it's all to do with the Tri-Hospital 2026 Dream Lottery. And gotta say, how could you not love this house? Just look at the beautiful dining table, the art, even the way the lights, the chandeliers are. It's honestly such a gorgeous home, and it could be yours. So I would buy a ticket as soon as possible. I'm considering it myself too. It's just so beautiful in here. And later on, we're going to be chatting about the impact of the lottery as well.
I love looking at all the decor as well. Thank you, Tandy. Let's go out to the rooftop now. How's it feeling out there, Catherine?
You know, it's a little bit chilly, Rochelle, to start our day off, but the positives, I'm seeing some lovely sunshine start to peek out from behind the clouds. It is -7 degrees with that wind chill, feels more like -16. The northeasterly winds strong and gusty at 30 clicks, pressure rising, humidity at 83%. So we are on storm watch. Yes, Environment and Climate Change Canada describes it as a late winter storm, a low pressure system to be exact. It's already started to pick up in Brandon and Dawson. Dauphin. In fact, Brandon is seeing freezing drizzle while it's falling more as snow in Dauphin. Dauphin and surrounding areas also likely to be the hardest hit, with predictions of 5 to 10 centimeters worth of snow in that region today and another couple of centimeters overnight. While you'll be dealing with temperatures in the southwest, a couple degrees below freezing, we're a touch warmer here in Winnipeg as we await the system. 0 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud, slight chance of freezing drizzle. Our snowfall are likely to arrive overnight. About 2 centimeters worth is possible as temperatures dip down to -5. And from there, the system could be persistent. Snowfall off and on through Friday and Saturday before the skies clear out nicely on Sunday.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
It's time now for our question of the day. Today is National Auctioneers Day, so we want to know, if money was not a problem, what would you like to buy at an auction? A piece of art, a rare item, a car? Let us know, please. You can text your answer to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. And don't forget to include your name, please.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic. Science-backed body contouring.
It's time for our Pet of the Week reveal. This week we're celebrating Pepper. She's a Border Collie Cross rescue from up north. Pepper loves posing, playing, learning new tricks, and peanut butter. Look at her that face. She's smiling for us. Thanks, Cindy, for sharing this photo, and congratulations to this good girl. We love your Pet of the Week submissions, so please keep them coming. Share a photo, a fun story about your pet, whether it's a dog, cat, bird, or any other buddy, at petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then make sure to watch Thursdays to see if your pet is named our Pet of the Week. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. We'll be back right after this. Good morning. Poor road conditions have forced the Division Scolaire Franco-Manitobaine to cancel bus service today for École Saint-Lazare. There are no buses for Saint-Lazare, although the school is open today. Mounties are asking for your help tracking down a stolen truck and the person who may be responsible. It looks like this, a white 2019 Ford F550 SD XLT. It was parked behind a business on the outskirts of Carman and is believed to have been stolen around 4 a.m. Sunday. It was hooked up to a flatbed trailer with a forklift, which was found in LaSalle the following day. RCMP are also hoping to find this woman, who they say was spotted in the parking lot around the time the truck was stolen. Anyone with information is asked to call Carman RCMP or Crime Stoppers. The floodway could go into operation over the weekend ahead of the Red River's peak in Winnipeg. The floodway gates would be raised to help control water levels in the city. The Red River is expected to crest at James Avenue in Winnipeg between April 21st and the 25th at 17.7 feet. That's just below what the province considers a moderate flood. Meantime, runoff is partially ongoing along the Assiniboine River. It's expected to peak in Winnipeg on April 25th. The province warns there could be minor flooding in low-lying areas along that river. The Sunwing Vacations Group is extending its suspension of operations to Cuba for the summer. The move will apply to Sunwing, WestJet Vacations, and WestJet Vacations Quebec. All operations to Cuba are canceled from June 20th to October 9th for all departure cities and airports. Customers who have made a group booking will be contacted to review their options. The company says it will continue to monitor the situation in Cuba. Just a month after Mayor Scott Gillingham announced new 7-Eleven stores were expected for Winnipeg, the convenience store chain now says it expects to close hundreds of locations this year. The company's North American operator says it plans to shut down 645 stores this fiscal year. 7-Eleven didn't specify which locations are on the chopping block or explain the reason for the closures. But the convenience giant has closed hundreds of underperforming locations over the past few years. These latest cuts are arriving as higher prices strain consumers worldwide. Just last month, Mayor Gillingham drank a Slurpee at a State of the City address, saying 7-Eleven officials told him they plan to open new stores in the city. Here's a look at what's happening right now on Keniston and Sterling Lyon Way. It looks like it's slowly picking up in this part of the city. Overall, though, pretty smooth driving so far. If you see any issues, please let us know with a text.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
In entertainment, get ready to rock out this summer. An American punk band is coming to The Bouncing Souls will be hitting the stage at the Park Theatre, known for songs like Lean on Sheena, True Believers, and Hopeless Romantic. The band will be bringing their high-energy performance. The show takes place on July 12th. Tickets are now available online at livenation.com. We now know who's going to be headlining this year's edition of Just for Laughs Montreal.
Roll on my Segway. I know in my heart they think I'm white and nerdy.
Comic legend Weird Al Yankovic, best known for parody hits like White and Nerdy and Another One Rides the Bus, will bring his bigger and weirder tour to the festival July 25th. And Jerry Seinfeld is due to perform July 23rd. Other acts include Zoltan Kashaz, Jacqueline Novak, and Smosh reads Reddit Stories Live. Tickets for the festival go on sale Friday. Weird Al will perform later this summer in Winnipeg at Canada Life Centre on August 30th. And there's a new face joining the cast of the upcoming Lord of the Rings movie. Jamie Dornan, who starred in 50 Shades of Grey, will be taking on the role of Aragorn, famously played by Viggo Mortensen in the original trilogy. The film is being directed by Andy Serkis, who will also reprise his role as Gollum. Other key actors are returning as well, including Elijah Wood as Frodo and Ian McKellen as Gandalf. Kate Winslet and White Lotus star Leo Woodall are also joining the cast. The film is set for release December 17th, 2027. Your Thursday primetime lineup kicks off with Next Level Chef at 7, then 4 episodes of The Big Bang Theory, back-to-back starting at 8. Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage wraps things up at 10 o'clock. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution.
Casting our eye to the sky, got a good amount of cloud coverage out there, but that sun finding a way to peek its head out. It's -7 degrees with that wind chill feeling closer to -16. Strong and gusty north-northeasterly winds at 30 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity at 83%. So yes, we're dealing with some cooler temperatures as we await an encroaching low pressure system that's likely to bring some snowfall. So taking a check in on where the rest of the province is sitting, -6 degrees in Morden and Winkler, -8 in Dauphin, into the minus double digits in Dauphin, Fisher Branch, and Swan River. Quite chilly in very northerly parts, particularly in Lynn Lake. Also, that wind chill factor a little bit frostier, cooling you down another 10 degrees from there. You can see that system that we're talking about really pushing in there from the southwest. In that effect, snowfall already beginning in Brandon and Dauphin. In fact, it's more like freezing drizzle in Brandon. And in effect, we also have this special weather statement from Environment and Climate Change Canada. It's been issued about 24 hours ago. Could potentially be upgraded to a warning. Warning, rather, about the snowfall that's coming. In fact, the hardest hit area likely to be around Dauphin. 5 to 10 centimeters worth potentially today and another couple overnight. We're likely going to stay dry today, although we do have that slight chance of freezing drizzle. It's -5 as the kids get to class, -4 at lunchtime, and -2 as they head home. We're getting a touch warmer, 0. Warm feels not a great term to use when 11 is more typical for this time of year. We then are likely to see that system arrive in our neck of the woods overnight. -5 degrees as the snowfall begins. About 2 centimeters could be coming. And that snowfall continues Friday and Saturday as temperatures continue to slide. Your Skywatch picture of the day, a gorgeous sunset snapped in St. Agathe with that church in the foreground. Thanks so much for Roy for sending that in. And if you've got any weather pictures to share, we'd love to see them.
April 16th, 1912. In Manitoba, the rural municipality of Fort Garry was incorporated. It had previously been part of the RM of St. Vital. The town of Transcona was also incorporated the same day. 1 year later, on this same date, the RM of Charleswood and the town of Tuxedo were incorporated. April 16th, 1962. Walter Cronkite made his debut as anchor of the CBS Evening News. Cronkite lasted 19 years at the anchor desk before Dan Rather succeeded him in 1981. At the height of his popularity, Cronkite was dubbed the most trusted man in America for a variety of reasons, including his calm, authoritative, on-air manner. April 16th, 2020. Canada's COVID-19 caseload pushed past the 30,000 mark. Canada's Chief Public Health Officer said more than 90% of those victims were over the age of 60, and half of them lived in long-term care homes. More than a century ago, one of the worst accidents in maritime history unfolded. Just before midnight, the RMS Titanic hit an iceberg and quickly sank to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean on April 15th, 1912. That night, over 1,500 people perished. Many of them wanted to reach Canada. The brother of Moose Jaw's mayor of that time was on board, along with British brothers Owen and Louis Brand, who were on their way to the Qu'Appelle Valley. None of them made it to their destination. Charles Melville Hayes, a prominent railroad businessman, also perished at sea, but his legacy lives on in Melville, a Saskatchewan city named after him.
He wanted to make Melville the hub, and we are the hub between Winnipeg and Vancouver. We are the main hub of the now CN Rail, and we have so much history tied with the railway and Charles Melville Hayes.
His jacket, though not worn on the infamous ship, is now on display at the Melville Heritage Museum. Canadian record producer and concert promoter Donald K. Donald has died.
Every show at the Forum, he would just leave the backstage and he would go and walk around the floor, say hi to people. People shook his hand. Donald was director of the University of Show Business.
Also known as Donald K. Tarleton, he is being remembered for being the best of the best, spending 40 years bringing some of the world's top musical artists to Canada, including the Rolling Stones. He was also a humanitarian, raising funds for the Missing Children's Network and producing a 1996 benefit concert for the Saguenay region flood victims, among other events. He was awarded a Member of the Order of Canada in 2000. Donald K. Donald was 82 years old. Countless videos of humanoid robots have made the rounds, but mostly as demonstrations. Now, a robot in Poland has found a practical function. This robot's name is Edward Warszawski, and in this video, it's chasing away a small herd of wild boars and yelling, "Go away," in Polish. Edward is equipped with AI technology and has actually become an internet personality in Poland. It regularly chats with people on the streets of Warsaw and even ran the city's marathon last month. Let's go back now to Tandy Vera, who is at the beautiful show home for the Tri-Hospital Lottery, Dream Lottery, and you're going to talk a little bit more with Jack. Say hi to Jack for me, please.
I will. Good morning. Good morning, Manitoba. I'm joined again by champion child Jack and his mom, Samantha. So excited to have them with us this morning. Now, Mom, tell me, how has Jack's care evolved as he's gone older?
Well, it has gotten a lot less intense, so that is a good thing. He works really hard at the skills he's trying to build with, like his movement and just strength and things like that. So he's still followed a little bit by the Children's Hospital with the vision program because of his vision impairment. So yeah, we don't really have a whole lot of medical appointments anymore. It's just regular pediatric visits and things like that. So we are incredibly thrilled just with how healthy he is now.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. And Jack, what are some of your favorite things to do? What do you love to do?
Raise flags.
Yeah, you love to raise flags? I was told you got a little gift from WAB, a flag. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I don't think that flag can, like, do you think that flag can go through the front street?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah? And you also like fishing, I hear, yeah?
Yep.
Jack is a great fisherman. He definitely shows me how to do it.
And Mom, just seeing how he's grown and evolved, what has that been like for you to see that impact in growing in his confidence?
It's so amazing. He's such a wonderful guy. He's such a little character. Everybody that knows him really loves him. And it has just been, like, throughout the year, it's just been incredible just to see how much he's grown. And his development wouldn't be possible without having the experience that we had in the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jack wanted to do a little shout out. You have one shout out this morning. Who do you want to give a shout out to?
John Cena.
I'm told you love John Cena, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, John Cena, if you're watching this, you got to meet Jack. He's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's been such a pleasure spending the morning with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tandy. Thank you, Jack. All right, let's talk about the weather, Catherine. Yesterday was such a strange day because it felt warmer, and then in certain areas it didn't feel warmer. It was just weird.
Yeah, you know, we're all over the place this week. Yesterday was an unseasonably warm day. We got throughout southern Manitoba to kind of the mid-teens. Far cry from what we're going to see today, as evidenced by our current conditions, -7, and there's a wind chill in effect out at -16. It is overcast, though some sunshine patches are visible to me downtown in Winnipeg. Winds are out of the northeast at 30 kilometers per hour, pressure rising, humidity sitting at 83%. We just got some hot off the presses updated modeling from Environment and Climate Change Canada about this incoming system here, about how it will impact us. It looks like the bulk of it will be felt in Saskatchewan, but we are not immune. We still have our special weather statement in effect. It's likely not going to be upgraded to a snowfall warning because we're not going to meet the threshold, but we are still going to be getting snow, make no mistake. And for us here in Winnipeg, we're going to stay dry, but the snow will arrive tonight. Dry to a certain degree. We do have that risk of freezing drizzle, a high of 0. Very strong and gusty winds out of the north at 30, gusting at times to 50 kilometers per hour. And then tonight we join the action. It's likely to start, it's already began rather in the southwest, I should clarify. So the southwest is in store for a snowy day, and then as it drifts further to the east, that's when we start to see maybe about 2 centimeters falling overnight, with temperatures dipping down to -5 and those northerly winds staying strong. Into tomorrow, snowfall continues. Another couple centimeters worth could be coming, maybe some freezing drizzle wrapped in there as well, -2 degrees with those strong northwesterly winds. Another day of snowfall likely, not as hefty as we saw the next couple, -1 degree on Saturday, and then we get the sunshine returning Sunday, and we'll see the temperatures rebound at the start of next week.
Thank you, Catherine. The clogged up Strait of Hormuz could impact Winnipeg's big sewage project. The $3 billion North Treatment Plant upgrades are being done in 3 phases.
We're watching the impact that global events are having on our construction projects.
Heavy machinery like this excavator uses a lot of fuel, so the Iran conflict, half a world away, could push up the price up of Winnipeg's most expensive project. The $3 billion North Sewage Treatment Plant upgrades are being done in 3 phases, known as the headworks, biosolids, and nutrient removal portions. A report to the Mayor's Executive Policy Committee has identified a new risk for the biosolids phase, the added cost of fuel because of the Middle Eastern conflict. The report also lists another possible complication, a shortage of workers because of the number of infrastructure projects planned in Manitoba.
Without enough workers, projects get delayed and the prices go up.
The Winnipeg Construction Association says changes to apprenticeship ratios and an aging workforce are also contributing to the shortages. The city report says a strategy to offset the problem is under development. EPC will have a presentation on the report at next week's meeting. Meantime, the mayor says all departments have been reminded to watch their fuel use, including not idling when it's not necessary. At least 16 people have been killed in a wave of Russian drone and missile attacks in Ukraine. The strikes come after a short ceasefire took place over Orthodox Easter. Ukraine's Air Force says Russia launched nearly 700 drones as well as 19 ballistic missiles. Ukraine's foreign minister says such attacks can't be normalized and is now calling on other countries to issue sanctions against Russia. The war in Ukraine is now in its 5th year. A 61-year-old Canadian man who's spent the last 2 decades in the U.S. raising his family is now back in Canada. He was deported after spending 65 days in ICE detention.
And just as I turned the corner, there they are. There was about 7 or 8 ICE guys, grabbed me right away, threw me up against the wall.
Douglas Dixon was arrested by ICE in February and detained. He moved to Florida in 2005 and got a green card. During the COVID pandemic, he was forced to close a smoothie cafe and fell behind in taxes. He ended up pleading no contest to tax evasion and was paying it back. But he still owed $12,000. And under American law, defrauding the government of more than $10,000 is an aggravated felony. He spent more than 2 months in detention before a judge ordered Dixon to be deported to Canada and banned him from returning for life. Winnipeg City Councillors remain stumped on how to approach regulations around fireworks and are asking for more time to study the issue.
Are trying to be more proactive, but we don't have. So remaining status quo, I'm going to challenge you, remaining status quo is not working for 3 or 4 of the wards.
On Tuesday, the Committee Services Committee approved a motion to revisit the issue next March, and in the meantime, gather more data and set up a working group. Councillors discussed a number of options they hope will satisfy both those who want to set off fireworks safely and those opposed to fireworks. It includes a ban on certain types of fireworks, only allowing fireworks on certain days, or increased fines for illegally setting off fireworks. In most cases, enforcement remains an issue, as the city only has a limited number of people who can respond to such calls, and they only work daytime hours. You can now own a bottle of wine from one of the most haunted castles in Scotland. For almost a century, these bottles of Bordeaux were hidden deep with the Glamis Castle. The property has strong links to the British royal family and is also said to have inspired William Shakespeare's Macbeth. The 2 magnums are expected to sell for nearly $70,000 Canadian each when they go under the hammer in New York tomorrow. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. The east and westbound curb lanes on Lombard Avenue will be closed between Main and Rory Street. Following the rush, the northbound curb lane on McPhillip Street will be closed from Kingsbury to Leela Avenue. And the median lanes on Inkster Boulevard will be closed between McPhillips and Lansdowne Avenue. If you have any other traffic tips, please send us a text. And here's a look now at your gas prices. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.71, a slight drop from yesterday. And the lowest price in the city is $1.57, found at 3 different gas stations. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Here's a look outside right now. It's -7, and yes, we do have a wind chill this morning, -16. We're taking a quick break. Your Morning Winnipeg back after this.
Bit of a chilly kickoff to your Thursday. It's -7 degrees. That wind chill making it feel more like -16. Overcast and breezy with north-northeasterly winds. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 83%. We're watching and waiting for an approaching low pressure system that's likely to bring a good amount of snowfall to areas through southern Manitoba. You can see it already showing up there on our radar. In fact, snow is falling in Brandon and Dauphin, excuse me, losing my words this morning. And in fact, it's showing up as freezing drizzle in certain areas. Meanwhile, we do have a special weather statement in effect for areas there in gray. It's expanded since it was issued yesterday. It's not likely to become a full-fledged snowfall warning, as our accumulations of snow won't meet the threshold of that. But in terms of the rest of the province, they're not totally immune either. Particularly the northeast are likely to deal with some snowfall off and on throughout the day. Thompson will have a little bit of sunshine, but some cooler temperatures at -10 degrees. Thompson, though, likely Churchill, and then Thompson likely staying dry at -6. The coffee has not kicked in, apparently. To the northwest, a mix of sun and cloud for you. Temperatures chilly, -4 degrees in Opaskwayak, Cree Nation, La Pond, Flin Flon, -6 in Lynn Lake. The southwest, this is likely the area that is going to bear the brunt of this system. About 5 to 10 centimeters worth of snowfall could be coming your way, starting today and continuing overnight. Temperatures below seasonal, -5 in Brennan and Neepawa, -7 in Dauphin and Swan River. For us here, we're likely to have a bit of an overcast day, slight chance of some freezing drizzle, strong northerly winds, temperatures cool and hovering around freezing. The northwest also dealing with some mixed precipitation, but some more seasonable temperatures. For Francis, balmy at 17 degrees. That snowfall likely to begin for us overnight tonight, about 2 centimeters worth, and it continues for the next couple of days to come before it clears by Sunday.
Thank you, Catherine. Yesterday was National McDonald's Day in the U.S., and one man is what you might call a super fan, but not of the food. Here's ABC's Danny New.
71 years ago today, future McDonald's CEO Ray Kroc opened his first McDonald's right outside of Chicago.
And speaking of the Hamburglar.
And decades later, a man in Texas has been on a mission to preserve many of the relics produced by the Golden Arches since that day.
Do you like McDonald's food too, or just their art?
My inspiration is more the art and the history of it.
His name is Bobby Beauchene, and for most of his life, he had already been collecting food and drink packaging and advertising.
The very first item in my collection is that Crystal Pepsi can.
However, for the past 7 years, he has specifically focused on the fast food chain of Ronald McDonald, now owning more than 40,000 pieces of its history.
There are very few American institutions more culturally significant than McDonald's.
Bobby says the entire top floor of his Austin home is Mickey D's.
This amazing late 70s breakfast menu,
which includes the bathroom.
Here's another of the guest bedrooms.
The guest room, and even his at-home office, which has this burger lamp from the 1970s.
So I flew to Salt Lake City just to pick this thing up.
Because you saw it and you were like, I need that lamp?
Yep.
Other slices of Americana include these special edition cups for the 1992 Dream Team, these Happy Meal promotions for different movies over the years, and Bobby's personal favorite.
My favorite of the translites is this one with Gallagher.
Of course, my favorite prop comic.
It's so absurd.
Bobby said he is frequently asked what his wife thinks of all these installations, and he says the house is split 2 levels with the bottom floor being Mickey D-less. He said that, quote, she may come upstairs 30 to 45 seconds a month. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
Statistics Canada is slated to release new motor vehicle sales numbers for the month of February. From the last report, sales for new passenger cars fell by 18.2% from January 2025 to January 2026. And electric vehicle sales also dropped sharply. Joining us now is CTV's Kamil Karamali with more. Good morning, Kamil.
Good morning, Rochelle. Good to see you.
You too. Now, Statistics Canada is releasing new data on motor vehicle sales. What can we expect?
Yeah, well, it was actually released just about 10 minutes ago, Rochelle, so you're going to have to stick with me here as I'm also just digesting these numbers. But at the first look, it looks like that gap between motor vehicle sales versus electric sales that gap is growing because we're seeing a continued decline of sales when it comes to motor vehicles and an increase of sales when it comes to electric vehicles. So looking at the data, there were 124,000 new motor vehicles sold in Canada in February. That's decreasing by 0.9%, almost 1% less from February of 2025 when you compare it to last year. And also, we're seeing an increase. In the same month, there were about just shy of 13,000 new zero-emission vehicles, or ZEVs as they're called. That's an increase of 47% from 1 year earlier. So you're seeing a decrease of 1%, not a sharp decrease of motor vehicle sales from February of last year comparing February 2026, and an increase, get this, of 47% of what's called zero-emission vehicles as well, Rochelle. So a big gap that it continues to grow. We also got this data yesterday in that there was manufacturing sales rose 3.6% to $71 billion in February, following a drop of 3% in January. So some positive numbers here for electric vehicles, but motor vehicle sales continue to decline steadily, Rochelle.
Now, the federal government, of course, revised its program on giving incentives for people to buy EV cars. Do you think that's what's going on here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that does seem to be playing a role, according to Statistics Canada. They're saying that since this mid-February launch of the electric vehicle affordability program, that really has shifted where people are putting their dollars when it comes to buying vehicles, and are considering, and polls have also showed that they're considering these incentives are really pushing them towards more electric vehicles, Rochelle. So it might be that we might see this trend continue.
Of course, with gas prices the way they are, probably we will indeed see that. Thank you, Kamil. Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 70th birthday, Lou, also affectionately known as Tataya, from Matthew, Victoria, Nicholas, Mihaela, and Marcella. Happy 12th birthday, Riley. Love Mom, Dad, Gavin, and Garrett. And double digits today. Happy 10th birthday to Liv. Mom, Dad, and Izzy send their love and say they're so proud of you. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, to fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff, Winnipeg's balloon headquarters with 3 locations.
Weather is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba.
Yes, quite a chilly day ahead, much below what's typical for this time of year. We're going to be lucky if we crack the freezing mark. When 11 is an average high for this time of year, we're not doing too well, and well off what we were able to get to last year at 15.6 degrees. Chilly, breezy, cloudy. That's how Mother Nature is starting us off here in Winnipeg on this Thursday. -7 degrees. With that wind chill, feels more like -16. Pretty overcast. Winds are strong out of the north-northeast at 30 clicks. Pressure falling, humidity at 83%. So we are going to be tracking a low-pressure system throughout the day and days to come. We've mentioned this before. It is triggered a special weather statement from Environment and Climate Change Canada. The snow has already begun in Brandon and Dauphin. That region likely to be the hardest hit. About 5 to 10 centimeters worth of snow could be coming your way today. Temperatures there a few degrees below freezing. For us here, it's likely going to be a bit overcast. There is a risk of freezing drizzle, but for the most part, we're likely going to be dry and cool with strong northerly winds, a high of 0, as we mentioned, in Winnipeg. And then tonight, that's when the snowfall encroaches on us here in Winnipeg. About 2 centimeters coming our way, and then a couple more expected in the days to come before tapering off Sunday.
Winnipeg has a homelessness crisis, but the city of Brandon also has many people who are unhoused and struggling to stay warm, fed, and safe. In 2017, the Brandon Bear Clan was created, and today dozens of dedicated volunteers patrol several times a week to help people in the community. And joining us now from Brandon Bear Clan is volunteer Cindy Price. Hello, Cindy.
Hello.
Thanks so much for joining us. Now tell us why the Brandon Bear Clan was created back in 2017. What was happening there?
Well, the community was struggling with some violence against women, and there was community members that joined the Bear Clan in Winnipeg to see how they worked, and then decided to bring it back to a community event, a community gathering, and some women decided that it was time to help people in our community.
And so you became a volunteer right from the start, or you joined up a little later?
Well, I guess I just volunteered, just donating items that were requested by the Bear Clans. Okay. And then it kind of evolved into becoming pretty much a full-time patroller.
Well, describe what a typical day would look like for you then with the Brandon Bear Clan.
So as just a volunteer patroller on our regular Thursday, Friday patrols, I arrive. I actually help bring the bus that we have to help transport people, our patrollers, and we arrive, we get all our gear ready, have a meeting, determine where we're going to go, make sure we educate new patrollers, and then we smudge, and then we move out into the community and help feed them and clothe them and find if we can help them get safe places.
Yeah, okay, so since 2017, how has the organization evolved since its beginnings?
Oh, it's been incredibly different. It started out with a small group of patrollers with a fairly large need. But when COVID hit, it was completely different. All of a sudden we shut down, and most of the community members didn't know why we were having to shut down, didn't have access to TV or radio or newspapers. So it was really different for them. So after COVID, it's like trying to regain some ground and really decide how we're going to do this. Our patrols change almost daily.
Okay, and so Manitoba, of course, is known for its frigid winter weather. Tell us about how your volunteers, what they do to stay warm and help others stay warm.
Well, we really work when we invite people to come or they want to volunteer to make sure that they come dressed. And sometimes they forget to bring their stuff, so we have to help them too. We have generous donations of warm clothing. When sometimes we have more than others, sometimes we have to ask the community for. When we get out there, and one of our first asks is like hats, mitts. Like we go through so many pairs of gloves and mitts and neck warmers. It's been overwhelming. Mm-hmm. It's been really cold. The cold has really affected our community members.
Yeah, I bet. Now, since its inception, how have things changed in the city of Brandon?
Well, Brandon is a city that, the Trans-Canada Highway comes across, and lots of people come here for medical reasons or for other reasons, and sometimes they get stuck here. They don't have transportation out. So the people are constantly changing and moving. Yet at the same time, some of the people that I met when I first started patrolling are still here. And, and there's been some deaths, unfortunately. It's just somebody new all the time, but some of the same folks that we still continue to help.
And I'm sure those community members are so grateful that you are there to help them when they need it. We are almost out of time already. What do you need right now? What can people do to support you?
Well, first of all, I want to thank TELUS for the great grant that we got to help us staff. We have some staff that help us, but we always need clothing, underwear, socks, hoodies, jackets. It's still cold. Lots of people sleep outside. We need a lot of blankets. We need a lot of love to be given to us to give love to the community.
Well, Cindy, you are definitely making a difference in your community, and money would go a long way as well. So if you could support
Absolutely.
the Brandon Bear Clan in any way, we have a link on our website. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Community Connection is brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Born to be a hero, trained to be a plumber.
Hello there, Kara Wagland inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday. And for it, we are off to Champions League. Bayern Munich down 1 against Real Madrid. In the 89th minute, Luis Diaz working the give and go with Jamal Musiala. And he bends it from 20 yards out for a massive goal. An incredible finish by Diaz. Bayern added a 4th goal to cap off the win. For the first time since 2012 between the two clubs, it's Bayern eliminating Real Madrid. And Diaz earns your must-see moment from Wednesday. Coming up tonight on TSN, we got a little MLB on TSN as the Mariners visit the Padres. That gets underway at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on TSN 1, 4, and 5. That's all for now from SportsCenter. Have a great day.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Thursday, April 16th. Encampment study. Why a new report says the city of Winnipeg should drop the idea of setting up a managed outdoor homeless encampment site. Social media ban. A federal cabinet minister says Canada may be closer to following the lead of other countries in restricting youth access to some networking and chat apps. And these alpacas used to frolic on familiar ground in South America. Now, in the name of science, they're having a whale of a time a world away in Wales. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. Welcome to Your Morning Winnipeg. It's 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for being with us here on the show. And coming up at 8:15, we're going to tell you about a special concert featuring Manitoba musician Don Amaro. He is going to perform for us this morning. And then at 8:45, Shake It Up Winnipeg. It's a giant Zumba dance party.
Ooh.
That's also happening tomorrow night. So we're going to show you a performance and tell you what you can expect when you work out and have some fun at the same time. But you're going to want to stay warm because things are changing.
Yeah,
temperature-wise.
I'm not dancing for joy at the forecast. I'm running in place to stay warm, to keep my body temperature up. It's a chilly start to the day. It's -7 degrees, that wind chill making it feel closer to -16. Also quite overcast with some strong north-northeasterly winds at 30 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising. The humidity this hour is sitting at 83%. So that special weather statement still in effect. In fact, it's expanded further to the east since yesterday. I mentioned it could be upgraded to a snowfall warning because this is all in advance of this approaching storm. However, we're likely not going to meet the snowfall threshold for that. So all this to say, we're getting snow likely for us overnight tonight, but areas in the southwest already dealing with that system with snowfall expected throughout the day. Our futurecast gives us a better sense of how this will unfold. So you can see it really reaching across Saskatchewan. It is really Saskatchewan that's going to get the highest accumulations. And here in Manitoba, the southwest will feel it most acutely. About 5 to 10 centimeters could be coming your way. So as the day progresses, it stretches off into our neck of the woods. We're likely to get some snowfall overnight. And as the evening progresses, you can see that back tail kind of moves up. And that's when we start to see it really camp out, sticking around for the next couple of days to come. So light snowfall off and on throughout Friday and Saturday. Not a lot in terms of accumulation. You can see it's already weaning a little bit into Saturday. So while it's not snowfall and a couple centimeters worth, certainly not what we want to see. The good news is we're perking up nicely into the start of next week. So by Sunday, we're under the sun with 3 degrees. And by next week, we're back to seasonal values. Your weather art of the day drawn by 6-year-old Ela in celebration of Easter. There's the Easter Bunny and all the beautiful Easter eggs. Thanks for drawing that. And we want to remind you to submit your child's weather art of the day. You got to visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, fill out the form. Your art can be shown on Your Morning, and it will also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crock-A-Doodle on Kenaston.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crock-A-Doodle. Spend quality time with loved ones and paint memories together.
The City of Winnipeg is being advised to drop the idea of setting up a managed outdoor homeless encampment site. According to a report which will be presented to Council next week, there's no time or money to make it happen. The cost for things like 24/7 security and wraparound supports on site weren't even factored into that cost. The idea, which was brought forward in December, was to run a temporary city-managed encampment during the spring and summer, which would include amenities such as washrooms, garbage bins, and on-site service providers, offering resources to those staying there. Given the significant cost and the fact it's already the middle of April and a site hasn't yet been selected, which would require some community engagement first, Council is now being advised to abandon the idea, and the mayor agrees.
We'll continue to work with the province of Manitoba and our other partner agencies to address encampments. We also brought in our encampment protocol, where we have removed 17 encampments over the last several months and got those encampments cleaned up to get people into housing. So I'll be supporting the idea of not moving ahead with a managed encampment, but instead continue to work with the province of Manitoba and other agencies.
Council actually asked city staff to consult with the province on possible funding options to do this, but in the report it says the province wasn't able to commit to any new funding or divert any existing services this summer. The floodway could go into operation over the weekend ahead of the Red River's peak in Winnipeg. The floodway gates would be raised to help control water levels in the city. The Red River is expected to crest at James Avenue in Winnipeg between April 21st and the 25th at 17.7 feet. That's just below what the province considers a moderate flood. Meantime, runoff is partially ongoing along the Assiniboine River. It's expected to peak in Winnipeg on April 25th. The province warns there could be minor flooding in low-lying areas along that river. The federal government is very seriously considering a social media ban for kids, according to Culture Minister Mark Miller. This comes days after party members voted in favor of a ban at the Liberal Convention. Members passed a non-binding resolution calling on the government to set 16 as the minimum age for access to social media accounts. Miller added that while the ban could be an important tool, it's not a solution to the bigger problem of online harms. Alpacas are giving scientists clues about global grazing patterns. These Peruvian alpacas, now in Wales, are a long way from home, and they're getting to know the local cuisine. Scientists are studying everything going in and all of the stuff coming out of the alpacas, right down to the DNA. Figuring out the best grazing strategies can help boost biodiversity and make agriculture more sustainable. Here's a look at what's happening in traffic now along the St. James Bridge. Things are slowly picking up in this region, but overall moving quite well. We have no issues to tell you about at this point in the drive. If you see anything out there, please send us a text when it's safe and legal to do so. Airbags have been standard equipment in vehicles since 1999 and generally work as planned, saving lives and preventing serious injuries. Although it's rare, airbags could deploy without warning due to rough road conditions or some other incident triggering airbag sensors. CTV's Pat Foran reports.
I was driving. I was 10 minutes away from home. It was terrifying.
Victor Sanchez of Mississauga says it was in February when he was driving his 2025 Ram 1500 truck. He says without warning, the airbags deployed.
My airbags went off with no collision. It was both my curtains and both my seats.
Sanchez says the loud bang startled him and almost caused him to lose control.
I only felt like a huge explosion. My hazard lights went on. I was disoriented at the moment. Pretty scary, to be honest.
He says he was glad it's a newer truck still under warranty because he was told replacing the airbags and other components of the safety system would cost $15,000 to $20,000.
All my headliner has to be replaced. My seats need to be replaced. All my seat belts need to be replaced, and all the modules.
Sanchez took the truck to his dealer and was told there would have to be an investigation. It's been over a month, and he says he can't get answers. When CTV News reached out to Stellantis Canada, a spokesperson said data from the vehicle's occupant restraint control module indicates the vehicle was beginning to tip, and multiple onboard systems predicted a rollover event. The airbag deployment operated as designed, and no manufacturing defect was identified. Stellantis said since there was no defect, the cost will not be covered, adding warranties do not cover repairs required due to fire, accidents, abuse, negligence, and misuse. Sanchez worries he'll now be out of pocket for the repairs and the rental car he's been driving. He didn't expect to have such a large repair bill on a newer vehicle.
We're talking about a $90,000 truck I just bought. It was my dream truck. I worked for 5 years a lot to buy it, and I haven't been able to use it. And I'm still responsible for car payments, insurance.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
It's a potentially major medical game changer for millions in Canada. For the first time in this country, severe allergy sufferers have a new alternative to carrying an EpiPen. CTV's Andrew Johnson explains.
Anita Jacobson loved her bees, but one day in the BC interior when she was harvesting honey, something went very wrong.
When I lifted the lid, all hell broke loose.
Unbeknownst to her, wasps had gotten into the hives, putting the bees on high alert. When Jacobson started poking around, she was swarmed and stung. She started swelling up and realized she was in trouble.
I can't make my arms and legs and my muscles move. I was losing the ability to control what I was doing by this point.
Jacobson is allergic to wasp stings. Mildly, she thought. She did have an old EpiPen her partner jabbed into her thigh. She made it to the hospital just in time.
That old Epi saved my life 100%.
Now, for the first time in Canada, there is a second life-saving option.
This is the ability to have a life-saving device available on you that's easy to administer, almost challenging to get it wrong.
Neffy replaces the needle with a nasal spray that is now approved by Health Canada to treat anaphylaxis, the severe reaction millions of Canadians deal with, allergic to everything from peanuts to shellfish. One doctor says the newly approved treatment is huge.
Carrying a needle-based epinephrine or having this as the only route of delivery causes barriers for people that, one, don't like needles, two, don't want to use the needle, or three, don't want to carry the size that is required for a needle-based device.
Jacobson agrees.
I'm very likely going to be able to spray that in my own nose if I need help, and if I can't, then somebody else can help me without feeling like they're going to hurt me.
The spray should start to appear in pharmacies by summer. Right now, it's only approved for children who weigh more than 30 kilograms, or about 65 pounds. The manufacturer says it will apply for a smaller dose to be approved for smaller kids later this year. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution.
Sunshine's in short supply to kick us off on this Thursday, as is the heat. -7 degrees with that wind chill, feels more like -16. Our sunshine is being blanketed, as mentioned, by those overcast skies. Winds strong and gusty out of the north. Pressure on the rise. Humidity at 82%. So yes, we're in anticipation of a late winter storm, as Environment and Climate Change Canada describes it. You can see it there creeping into the southwest. In fact, snowfall has already begun in Brandon and Dauphin. We also still have this special weather statement in effect from Environment and Climate Change Canada, although it has been extended through the east. In as such to warn us that a couple centimeters of snow could be coming to us. More than a couple, about 5 to 10 centimeters worth in and around the southwest. Lesser for us, along with it, likelihood of some freezing drizzle. Today, we do actually have a risk of freezing drizzle, and we're likely to stay dry. Our time will come. 0 degrees with some very strong and gusty northerly winds. Some pockets of sunshine here or there, but a good amount of cloud cover coverage, as you can see looking out your window. Overnight tonight, that's when the fun begins. -5 degrees, couple centimeters of snow, about 2 expected, and those winds staying strong, staying gusty out of the north. And then into tomorrow, that snowfall expected to continue, with temperatures getting even cooler at -2 degrees. Snow or potentially freezing drizzle with strong northwesterly winds. There's a good chance that snowfall can continue into Friday, about a 60% shot, likely not as strong as we'll see on Thursday, or on good chance the snowfall will continue into Saturday. My apologies. Not as strong as you'll see on Friday. There we go. The sunshine likely to return on Sunday, and those temperatures rebound nicely into the start of next work week. We have a performance from Donna Merrow coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Winnipeg multiple Juno and Canadian Country Music Awards nominee Donna Merrow is putting on a special concert tomorrow. The show, titled Donna Merrow Trio with Antonio La Rosa, is happening at the West End Cultural Centre, and it'll include a blend of sound from Chris Stapleton, Patrick Droney, and Ed Sheeran. Fans will love the sounds coming from there. And joining us now is singer-songwriter Donna Merrow. Good morning, Dawn.
Glad to be back. Thanks.
It's great to see you. You're always busy. You've got so much going on. What have you been up to these days?
Well, I mean, the fall was really busy, and then into the winter season, and then the last few months we wrapped up a record, so the next part of Broken Record series is ready. Not out yet, but it's ready.
Okay.
And then just getting ready to kind of hit the road now and doing some gigs in the next couple of months. And yeah, just basically I use the last couple of months as kind of a reset. It's always kind of the beginning of the year is a bit of a time when I can hunker down in the studio more, which is what we did. And I feel like I'd been a good dad over the last few months, which is kind of the priority. But you know, all that in the mix, it just feels like I stopped using the word balance and using the word harmony more. So trying to have everything live in harmony. That's what I'm trying to do.
I love your social media on Mondays as well. You've been doing this sort of minutes on
the Monday Minute.
Which is really great that you can connect with fans like that. Tell us a little bit about how you connected with the people involved in the show.
Yeah, so Antonio La Rosa is opening up the show. He's an incredible BC artist, kind of a 90s country throwback vibe. I don't know if he would describe it like that, but that's how I hear it.
Okay.
And he's just a super great gent. People are loving him. He's kind of blowing up right now, so he'll be kicking off the show, starting off things at 8 o'clock. And then I've got this incredible trio, which I was bragging to you about off air a second ago. So it's myself, Sheena Ratai, local Winnipegger, and Larry Abrams from Winkler, Manitoba. And the three of us, it's kind of like magic, you know. For me, it's medicine. When I sing, having the harmonies like this, it's so rich, and I feel like in the way I describe it is like it's the best version of a music I feel like I've ever done in my whole career. So
it's worth checking out the show, and you're going to sing for us right now, Donna Merrow.
I can, yeah.
Take it away.
You're standing alone, just you on this road. The bag on your back is all that you own. Well, I've kicked those stones and I've sang the blues, and I've walked those painted lines too. On down the road, well, on down the road, just keep on moving. On down the road, it seems no one cares. They all pass you by. Another small town with no long goodbye. You're losing faith. The sun's about to set. This ain't as good, oh, as good as it gets. On down the road, on down the road, just keep on moving. On down the road. Sometimes you feel you just don't belong. Just keep on moving, keep hanging on. just keep on moving. You're doing, just keep on moving on down the road.
It's quite the chilly start to our day here in Winnipeg on this Thursday. It's -7 degrees. The wind strong out of the north, giving us a bit of a bite, and that wind chill feeling more like -16 degrees. Pretty overcast as well, with barometric pressure on the rise and the humidity at 82%. So if you're feeling a bit of a shift, that's because an approaching low pressure system is likely to bring us a bit of a wintry blast. This low pressure system pushing in from the west has already started to make its presence known, if you will, in the southwest. So freezing drizzle in Brandon this hour, snow falling in Dauphin. As the day progresses, temperatures in that region will be at about -5 degrees for your high. A little bit warmer for us here in the southwest. While we're not likely to see the flakes fly until tonight, we do have a light risk of some freezing drizzle. Overcast skies, strong and gusty winds. For us here in Winnipeg, a high of 0. As the system pushes off further into the east, we're likely to start seeing the snowfall overnight. About 2 centimeters worth could be coming our way, but the hardest hit areas, likely the southwest, 5 to 10 centimeters expected throughout the day, and then a couple more overnight. The flakes will continue to fly for us here in Winnipeg into Friday, could hang on into Saturday, but it's going to take until the start of next week for our temperatures to rebound to seasonal values. Your Skywatch picture of the day, just a lovely sunset in St. Agathe, taken by Roy. Thanks for sending that in, and keep your weather pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
Good morning. Blue Bombers fans will notice a few improvements when the season starts later this spring. Profits from last year allowed the Winnipeg Football Club to make new investments at Princess Auto Stadium. While operating expenses rose by $23 million last year due to hosting the Grey Cup, the club's 2025 annual report shows an operating profit of $12.1 million. That's thanks in part to a sold-out season. $8.4 million was used for improvements, including a new players' lounge, additional contactless security screening devices, and concession equipment. The club also installed 2 new high-resolution video boards and is replacing loge seats and redesigning the rum hut. Get those shopping bags ready. We now know when Japanese clothing giant Uniqlo is opening at CF Polo Park. The Lifewear retailer says doors will open May 15th. The Uniqlo store will be located on the 2nd level of the mall by the food court. It will eat up about 18,000 square feet with clothing for men, women, and kids. A second location will open later this year at St. Vital Centre. Turning trash into treasure has helped one Vancouver man find a new outlook on life. He's repurposed old boots, ski poles, and even given a video camera a second life. Here's CTV's Adam Sawatsky.
Although it is unusual to see boots outside a bedroom window that were once blooming,
marigolds and cowboy boots.
Chris Poland says he regularly repurposes things like this while riding around finding things others have left behind.
I stumbled upon this bag with a free sign, and it had an old camera in it.
A video camera, likely discarded because its technology is so outdated.
But I didn't really know about it, so I left it in a box for like 2 years.
In the meantime, Chris started playing competitive bicycle polo.
Kind of like hockey on bikes.
But instead of skates, a stick, and puck, you ride around trying to hit a ball into a net with a mallet.
Not many people do ski poles.
But then again, not many people are like Chris, who turned these old ski poles he found into polo mallets before cutting orange construction fencing into the wheel guards you need to protect your bike spokes from being bent.
Now I can't go back because the orange is so good.
And it turns out Chris is so good at the sport, he plays all over the place, and was recently invited to compete in Whitehorse.
So I have a friend who happens to be throwing a film festival in Whitehorse.
A friend who also looks for the unexpected possibilities of things and spent months collecting thousands of aluminum cans so he could buy a projector to play the movies.
He called it the Cannes Film Festival, which is pretty nice.
As opposed to con.
Yeah.
So Chris taught himself how to use that old camera, shot this short comedy despite never making a movie before, and was inspired to see how recycling cans could end up cultivating community.
During the winter, to bring people together when it's cold and like people need connection up there.
So now that he's back home, Chris will keep searching for things that he can make useful again in unexpected ways.
It's like really nice to be able to take the time to do something special and make people laugh and smile.
Which is why Chris is planning to replant those marigolds, because although these boots were made for walking, he knows that's not just all they'll do. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
Imagine finding some baby river otters hiding in your own backyard. While some homeowners in Richmond, BC found 3 of them. They noticed an otter regularly visiting their shed and eventually called a wildlife removal company. They found a hidden den with 3-week-old pups inside. They were placed in a heated box nearby, allowing mom to retrieve them, and now the shed is covered in screening to keep them out. Such cuties. All right, we're going to take a break here. We're going to be right back after this one. Manitoba are already seeing the snow and precipitation this morning, Catherine.
Yes, particularly in the southwest. Brandon, some freezing drizzle to start off. Dauphin, some snowfall. And we're not going to be immune either. We're going to be joining the party in due time. But right now, I wouldn't say it's the calm before the storm because it's quite chilly out there. -7 degrees with that wind chill, feels more like -16. Definitely not calm in terms of our winds. Out of the north, strong and gusty at 28, gusting at times to 39 clicks. Pressure rising. Humidity at 82%. So yes, you can see the culprit, that low pressure system likely to spread a bit of a wintry blast throughout southern Manitoba. It's hovering around the southwest, and as the day unfolds, it's likely going to be coming to further to the east, and all into the areas there lit up in gray. So these are all areas under a special weather statement from Environment and Climate Change Canada. They're likely not going to be upgraded to snowfall warnings because it won't meet the threshold, but we are still going to be getting some snowfall and potentially some freezing drizzle. Some snowfall this morning also in the northeast. This is associated with a separate system, however. A couple centimeters for you today, -5 degrees in Island Lake, -8 in Gillam. Churchill, a pocket of sunshine with your flurries, -10. Thompson staying dry with a mix of sun and cloud at -6. To the northwest we go, where you're likely to deal with a mix of sun and cloud. Temperatures there at -4 in Opaskwayak Nation in the Paw, and Flin Flon -6 in Lynn Lake. The southwest, you could be getting about 5 to 10 centimeters worth of snowfall and a couple more tonight. Temperatures there at about -5 degrees. We're a bit warmer at 0, likely a mix of sun and cloud, that slight risk of freezing drizzle, and similar conditions on tap for the northwest of Ontario. Overnight temperatures dipping down to -5. That's when the flakes are likely to fly for us, about 2 centimeters worth, likely to continue on to Friday. Could be sticking around into Saturday, but we're going to get that sunshine back by Sunday.
Thank you, Catherine. Mounties are asking for your help tracking down a stolen truck and the person who may be responsible. It looks like this: a white 2019 Ford F550 SD XLT. It was parked behind a business on the outskirts of Carman and is believed to have been stolen around 4 a.m. on Sunday. It was hooked up to a flatbed trailer with a forklift, which was found in LaSalle the following day. RCMP are also hoping to find this woman, who they say was spotted in the parking lot around the time the truck was stolen. Anyone with information is asked to call Carman RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Now that the snow has melted, for now, the grime and litter that lies beneath has been revealed. To freshen things up, the city is launching a beautification blitz in Winnipeg's downtown. 4 dedicated crews will clean and polish the area over the next 4 weeks, sweeping sidewalks and streets, replacing damaged signage, and pressure washing park equipment. The annual citywide spring cleanup starts Sunday. While the cleanup will involve more than 300 pieces of equipment and 500 workers, the mayor hopes he'll also lend a hand.
If you could take the time as a property owner, please, to sweep up and clean up your property, that would make a huge difference. It would get us accomplishing our goal of a cleaned up city faster.
The annual yard waste program is set to begin the week of May 4th. Winnipeggers should also watch for no parking signs and may be required to move their vehicle during the cleanup blitz. You can stay up to date on operations through the city's website and Know Your Zone app. Manitoba's only black bear rescue is putting forward a cash reward after a mother black bear was illegally killed last month. Manitoba Conservation says it happened on Road 6 East, just north of Balmoral, between roads 86 and 87 North, sometime between March 30th and 31st. The killing left behind 3 orphaned cubs who have been taken in by Manitoba Black Bear Rescue. And now that rescue is offering up a $10,000 reward for information that leads to a conviction. Manitoba Conservation says the maximum penalty is a $10,000 fine and or 6 months imprisonment. If you have information that can help, contact conservation officers or call the Turn In Poachers tip line. Those numbers are up on your screen right now, and you do not need to give your name. In addition to the soaring price of oil and gas, the war in Iran is also threatening the choke off the global supply of helium. The gas is used for more than just filling up party balloons. And as CTV's Alison Bamford shows us, a shortage would have a significant impact.
Tana Dietrich is going through her balloon shop's website after removing every single helium product they once offered.
We got about an hour's notice that we were no longer going to be getting helium.
Shipping constraints and damage to production facilities in the Middle East have essentially cut off 1/3 of the world's helium supply, forcing the balloon bar YQR to pivot.
There's an option for everyone that is going to be air-filled and not rely on the helium supply.
But a global helium shortage does more than just deflate a few balloons. The gas in its liquid form is crucial in semiconductor manufacturing, aerospace, and acts as a coolant for MRI machines.
So much is used for these high-tech applications that are essential to our way of life.
Last month, suppliers warned Saskatchewan's health authority that its helium allocations could be cut in half. For right now, the province is still getting its normal supply, while hospitals across the country monitor the shortage closely.
There is no system-wide shortages at this time impacting patient care in Canada.
The industry says it underscores the need for Canada to develop its own domestic supply.
The helium sector in Saskatchewan alone could grow to 10% of the world's supply. But growth is stalled.
This week, Saskatchewan's energy minister was in Ottawa lobbying for policy changes to help grow the sector and make the province a reliable helium supplier in times like these.
Canada has a great opportunity. Saskatchewan has a greater opportunity.
As Saskatchewan looks to expand the helium business, Dietrich is confident in getting out of it.
We have no intentions of going back. It's always going to be a finite resource.
A move she hopes to see balloon in sales. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Here's a look in traffic right now along Portage Avenue at Polo Park. It looks like things are pretty smooth here. If you have any traffic tips to share, please send us a text. Here's a look at your gas prices now. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.71, which is a slight drop from yesterday. And the lowest price in the city is $1.57, found at 3 different gas stations. All this information is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
And it's time now for our question of the day. Today is National Auctioneers Day, so we asked, what would you like to buy at an auction? For Lindsay, a dime bag Daryl's Lightning Bolt Washburn guitar. Susan says, I love to look for Petty Point china. It's really nice. A viewer shared, I would like to buy a small tractor with attachments. And Pat loves classic cars, so she'd love to buy a classic Corvette at an auction. Thank you so much for your responses.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic, science-backed body contouring.
Let's go back to CTV's Sandy Vera this morning. We're talking about the Tri-Hospital Dream Lottery this morning. Tell us more about some important deadlines. Hello.
Hi, hello. Yeah, we spent the morning in a beautiful home, and now I'm joined by President and CEO Stefano. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for people who might not know, what is the Tri-Hospital Dream Lottery, and who does it support?
Well, the Tri-Hospital Dream Lotto is back bigger and better, supporting the 3 largest hospitals in Manitoba. The St. Boniface Hospital, the Health Science Center for the adults, and of course, everyone's favorite, the Children's Hospital here in our city, Winnipeg.
And when someone buys a ticket, where exactly does that money go?
You know, it's very important because healthcare is a priority for all of Manitobans. And so by buying a ticket, you support child health at the Children's Hospital. You're supporting the Health Science Center and, of course, the wonderful work at St. Boniface. Advancing research, supporting programs like child life programs at our Children's Hospital, and improving the health of Manitobans.
Yeah, so this lottery has really real impact, but people can also win some prizes. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, and that's the beauty of this lotto. By buying a ticket, not only do you support healthcare, supporting kids and adults, achieve the best care possible, but also you can walk away with significant prizes, over $1.7 million in a grand prize, one of 5 homes you can walk away with, or walk away with $1.35 million in cash at the end of the day. So it's a great way to support child health, adult health, support our hospitals, buy a ticket, and get involved, support your community.
That's amazing. And for someone watching who might be not sure about buying a ticket, what's your message to them?
It's really easy. You know, go to trihospitaldream.com, look at all the prizes, hundreds of prizes you can win between now and the grand prize. Think about your child, think about a niece, a nephew, think about how you can support healthcare in our province and buy a ticket.
And again, going back to that impact, because it's so important, it's impacted so many families. How has it been seeing their reactions to getting that funding?
Well, we serve over 140,000 kids per year at the Children's Hospital, and ensuring that we have the best equipment, the best technology, and sustaining the programs of child life is so important. Because as we support our healthcare system, the health of our kids improves, and that's what we're all about.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We've had a great morning at this home, and you heard it here. 1 ticket, triple the threat, triple the impact, not the threat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shandy. Let's go into the rooftop now. Ooh, the wind has picked up, Catherine. It doesn't look pleasant.
I'm officially over it this morning. It's really chilly out here. That wind out of the north, strong, gusting, giving us a wind chill, making it feel like -16, not ideal for April. The barometric pressure is rising, humidity at 82%. So it's going to be a gusty day ahead for us here in Winnipeg and the surrounding Red River Valley. We do have a slight risk of some freezing drizzle. However, we're really waiting for this low pressure system that's pushing in from the west. In the meantime, we're going to be dealing with highs of 0 degrees, overcast skies, slight risk of freezing drizzle. That low pressure system that we are waiting for, it's already arrived, made its presence known in the southwest in areas like Dauphin and Brandon. It's falling as a freezing drizzle in Brandon. Environment and Climate Change Canada forecasts upwards of 5 to 10 centimeters could be coming to the southwest. And then with temperatures as well at around the -5 degrees, off the mark by far for seasonal values. As the system pushes into the east, it's likely to come to Winnipeg overnight. We could get about 2 centimeters worth as our temperatures dip down to -5 as those northwesterly winds stay strong and gusty. Friday looks to be a snowy one, as is Saturday. We do get the sunshine back in time for Sunday, so at least we got that to look forward to. I'm heading inside to warm up and curse Mother Nature. Stay with us. So much more Your Morning Winnipeg still to come.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
It's an incredible reminder of the power of giving back. The goalie for the Calgary Flames did something special to bring tears of joy to a young fan.
So what happened was the most memorable moment happened off the ice.
Dustin Wolf saw the sign that the little boy was holding. It said, "Wolf, you are my idol."
A hockey stick belonging to the Flames goaltender tossed into the stands and right into the hands of 10-year-old Kate Heisler, whose priceless reaction has captured hearts everywhere.
Take a peek over at him and give him a thumbs up.
As soon as I saw the thumbs up, I started like having little tears.
A young goalie himself, overcome with emotion by a surprise he'll never forget.
When it came to me, I just started bawling.
I don't think it gets any better than that.
Especially meaningful for the young fan because he sometimes gets picked on for his size.
Wolf doesn't let his size hold him back. He turns it into motivation.
Wolf knows all about the power of giving back. Not long ago, he was gifted a stick from his childhood idol, NHL great Jonathan Quick.
That's what the game's all about. It's neat to be able to make a kid's day like that.
Receiving that acknowledgement from Wolf and then getting his stick was just above and beyond anything that we could ever imagine.
A memory the young superfan will likely hold on to for a lifetime.
Zumba is a global dance phenomenon. It's a popular way to exercise, have fun, and make new connections. An upcoming Zumba event tomorrow called Shake It Up Winnipeg is bringing in two well-known and respected Zumba presenters for a giant dance party. And joining us now from Energize Z Fitness is Eliza Morissette and her Zumba dancers, Lucia and Louise. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now tell us, if somebody's never been to a Zumba class, what is Zumba exactly?
So Zumba is your chance to step into happy. It is an hour of letting loose, having fun, really taking in that good energy and really spreading it to your community. So Zumba is Latin-inspired fitness, but the music is so fun that you really don't feel like you're exercising, and the hour goes by and you're just having a blast.
And it's like dancing, so for older adults, it's easy for them to keep up as well. There is an option for them to keep up?
Yes, so in Zumba we say it is for everyone, and it's all ages, all different fitness levels. So even if you've never danced before, you are more than welcome to come, and there are, different instructors that will show modifications. But if you love good energy, you love good music, you're there to have a good time, then it is for everyone.
We're almost out of time already. Tell us about the presenters that are coming in and from where.
Yes, we're so excited. So we're bringing back Jonathan Benoit from Montreal, and we're bringing Saluco Fernandez, who is making his Canadian debut from Spain. So first time in Winnipeg, first time in Canada. So we're really going to shake it up.
And this is happening where and at what time?
Yes, so at CCFM Winnipeg at 340 Provencher Boulevard. You can grab your tickets. The VIP is sold out, but there are a limited number of general tickets left. You can get them at energizezumba.com.
Okay, you're going to do a demonstration for us?
Yes.
So take it away.
Thank you.
Sandungueo. Gózalo. Si llegaste aquí, no te me quedes parado. Dos pasos para el frente y un pasito para el lado. Si llegaste aquí, no te me quedes parado. Dos pasos para el frente y un pasito para el lado. Bailalo. Mira que sandungueo, métele sandungueo. 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 Bailalo, mamita. Lado no baila, siente la silla no se para. Si se quedó medio dormido, el que no esté convencido, aunque sea desconocido, si tiene cara de bandido. Tiki 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 ta, si con este ritmo que no se pone a gozar. Tiki 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 ta, para la colita y la letra. Rápido. Tiki 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 ta, si con este ritmo que no se pone a gozar. Tiki 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 ta, para la colita y la letra. Tra tra. Si llegaste aquí no te me quedes parado. Ay ay ay. Dos pasos para el frente y un pasito para el lado. Gózalo. Si llegaste aquí no te me quedes parado. Dos pasos para el frente y un pasito para el lado. Goza. Mira que sandungueo, métele sandungueo, 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 métele sandungueo, mira que sandungueo, y en la tira métele sandungueo, mira que sandungueo, métele sandungueo, sandungueo. Ay ay ay. Báilalo, mamita. Que
need to do some Zumba moves to keep my body temperature up. It's chilly out there, -7 degrees with that wind chill feeling more like -16. It's overcast and breezy with strong and gusty northerly winds. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 82%. So we are watching and waiting for the arrival of this low pressure system. It's already made its presence known in areas of the southwest. In fact, we do have a special weather statement in effect in advance of this system. You can see it's encompassing all of southern Manitoba, Winnipeg included. With it, it's likely going to bring some snowfall to us. Not until tonight, though. We have likely a dry day, although we have a slight chance of some freezing drizzle this morning. High of 0 degrees, 11 is what's typical. Obviously, we're not getting anywhere near that for the next couple of days to come. Strong northerly winds, not only today, but persisting overnight, and that'll greet that overnight snow, about 2 centimeters worth, as our temperatures dip down to -5. Likely that snowfall continues into tomorrow with another couple of centimeters coming our way, -2 degrees. And then from there, slight chance it will be on Saturday, about 60% shot, otherwise cloudy. And then we get that sunshine returning Sunday. And as you can see at the start of next work week, that's when we really recover in terms of our temperatures. I think Director Kim is cheering for me because I didn't go over time. We're going to take a break here on Your Morning Winnipeg, but don't go anywhere. Your videos of the day still to come.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Well, before we say goodbye, we're going to show you some fun video. We kick things off with an Airbnb that has more than you could possibly want when you get away.
Simulator.
Wow, this is incredible. This place has something for everyone. An outdoor pool, sports courts, a slide-in bedroom, gym, golf simulator, and a movie room, to name a few things. Located in Texas, this 6-bedroom home sleeps 22 people and goes only for $1,500 a night.
What?
The man who posted it is showing his ultra-rich clients how to make big money with their big mansions. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
$1,500, eh?
Book it.
Yeah.
That looks much preferable to what we have going on outside today.
And does your partner love or hate surprises? This one is a little diabolical. A woman took her husband to Salzburg, Austria on a Sound of Music bus tour, but she does not tell him it's a 5-hour-long sing-along tour. The realization sinks in, and he was not happy. Look at his face.
My boyfriend would dump me. Like, he would not. That would be the worst nightmare
and
for him.
then finally, something that will leave you awestruck. This tree is the largest living thing on Earth. It's found in Sequoia National Park in California, and standing next to it feels like meeting a living skyscraper. I bet. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.